6 o'clock at the MJ Morning Show. MJ on a Monday morning, fester out for a couple of days this week. Roxanne and myself holding down the MJ Morning Show crap fest. So Thanksgiving week, obviously. Our plans are Monday, Tuesday. So today, tomorrow, then Wednesday, we're going to best of it. Then Thursday, we're just going to have turkey gobble noises just on a loop for 4 hours. No one's ever done that. But Thursday morning, just, gobble noises. I think it'll be interesting. I think it ought to be, high. It's kind of like, Christmas morning, the TV stations and the networks over the years that put the fireplace log video. I don't know if anyone. Hey, Andrew, did anyone do that locally over the years? I'm trying to think. But there were some TV stations around the country where, like, Christmas morning, 6 a.m. until, I mean, it was bizarre. But for like a couple hours, they would just have a fireplace with burning logs on the TV. So we're going to try to start a new trend by just having turkey gobble noises on a loop for 4 hours straight. And I think it'll be highly rated.
People are into ASMR. They might like that.
Yeah, that'll be Thursday morning here on the MJ Morning Show. And then Friday, it's Black Friday, where I don't plan to go near any freaking store ever on a Black Friday.
I mean, it has to have changed over the years. It's not as big of a thing with online shopping.
Well, that's true. I mean, you've got, Cyber Monday on Monday and all these terms. So that's the plan for the week here on the MJ Morning Show. I have no idea what Fester's doing, but he informed us some time ago. Yeah, he's taking off Monday and Tuesday. So there you have it. All right, Buccaneers, I watched absolutely zero. I mean, I had too much to do. I ain't got time for that.
What were you doing?
Like pre-holiday week crap. I just had a lot of errands to do.
Honey-do lists, errands.
I had 158 sandbags to start picking up around the house. I was waiting till I knew that hurricane season was done, over, complete. So 158 sandbags, and the whole back of the house is done. But then we discovered that some of the sandbags were a bit damp. Because they were sitting on the plastic. So, I mean, not soaking wet. And I'm not throwing the damn sandbags away. I'm keeping the freaking sand. Oh, my God. I got to talk about these wagons that Michelle got.
Wagons to put the sandbags in?
Yeah. They're carts. Let me write this down. Sandbags, carts. Last week, we had an item. Last week, I found this somewhere, and we mentioned about the number of damaged packages. Remember that?
Mm-hmm,
Remember that?
Of course.
It was one day last week. We were talking about damaged packages. And the number of packages that are being shipped, FedEx, UPS, U.S. Postal Service, I would imagine. I don't know about Amazon's own in-house delivery, but the number of packages that are being like wrecked, destroyed, it's going through the roof. You would think that things would get better, but they're not. The number of packages that are damaged, the numbers are increasing dramatically. That was some story we had last week. And tell you what, we got on Friday, we got a delivery of these wagons. And my God, these things were beat to hell. So Michelle ordered, I'll get into this in more detail later on, but this is correct. Let me mark this down.
Okay.
Sandbag, cart damage. All right, probably 7 o'clock hour. I don't have the time to get into the whole story here. But tell you what, we got 3 of the same items on Friday, and it looked like they were dropped out of an airplane from 30,000 feet. I mean, these boxes were smashed and wrecked. They were like busted open. You could see where somewhere along the way UPS had to tape them together. Parts were sticking out of the box. I mean, these things were just a freaking mess. And then I had to drive all the way up to, I had to go to one of the retail stores of this particular company. It was Harbor Freight. So Michelle found these. I don't want to get into too much here because I want to get into it later on.
Save it.
So I had to find a Harbor Freight that had 3 of these things in stock to go take these bashed up, damaged freaking boxes where like bolts were poking through the box and bent. So you couldn't get the nuts on them. I mean, it was just, talk about nuts. All right, so I'll get into that later on. Anyway,
hey, did you want to know what happened with the Bucs since you didn't
Well,
get
no,
to watch
I'm
it?
about to go back to that. So, I went off on this little tangent here, and I said that I didn't see any of the Bucs because just a lot of stuff, yes. I mean, getting particular Thanksgiving items before the mad rush, today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. So just a lot of errands yesterday. I had the sandbags that we started collecting around the house. Just a lot of things. So I ain't got time for you. Sorry for the Buccaneers, but I ain't got no time for you. I had no time to sit there and watch the Bucs on what was expected to be a crappy game where the Buccaneers were going to blow out the New York Giants anyway. I mean, even though the Bucs have been on a crap fest, ass trend.
But they've had some good stuff happen for them yesterday that they still have a chance in the postseason.
Well, yeah, good luck with that. Anyway, I mean, if the fact, listen, the lucky thing for the Bucs, and I'm no sports analyst, I'm no sports expert, but the NFC South blows. All right, it is a lousy teams right now in the NFC South.
6-5 Atlanta Falcons are the team to beat.
Listen,
but they beat the Bucs 2 times, so they beat them in head-to-head competition.
So there's
they've
a
got to get
chance.
the wild card unless they outright beat the Falcons with their number of wins.
All right, so there's a shot. I mean, there is a chance, but the Bucs, I believe, are on the road next weekend as well, right? Are the Bucs?
I think so. Andrew, who are they playing next week?
Who's the deal next week?
I'm not sure. All I know is they keep saying the Bucs have one of the easiest strength of schedules the rest of the season.
All right.
Yeah.
So listen, there's a shot for wild card, but
or get more wins than Atlanta. Just as if Atlanta ties them or beats them with
so
wins, they're not going to do it.
The bottom line is, let's say that they do make the playoffs, they get a wild card berth or whatever. I don't have any high prospects or hopes for the Bucs beyond the first round if they snag wild card or whatever. But that's the only saving grace is that the NFC South sucks. So
tell that to Baker Mayfield after his big run yesterday when he ran over a Giants player into the end zone, 10-yard touchdown.
I don't think he threw any touchdown passes though. Is that correct? I don't think he threw any touchdown passes yesterday. Yeah,
I don't think so.
All right, so 6:08 at the MJ Morning Show, just getting rolling, and on the road again next week. So it's Panthers, Carolina next week for the Bucs. I'm just I'm not confident that we're gonna see any postseason play beyond maybe a wild card spot. 6:08, just getting rolling. MJ Morning Show back in minutes. A busy Monday here on Thanksgiving week. I wouldn't miss one moment of this show if I were you. and Roxanne. Fester off this week. It is our Thanksgiving week spectacular set of broadcasts. Listen, all right, I'm lying. There'll be no difference this week than anything else, except for the turkey noises for 4 hours straight on Thursday morning. 6:22. Weather's fantastic out there. We don't do much weather here on the MJ Morning Show other than like hurricane season when, well, I'm just about to say that. So we don't do much weather on the program, but, hurricane season, obviously, when we're affected, obviously we do extensive hurricane coverage, and nobody does it like the MJ Morning Show. But 54 degrees, I'm in my shorts and T-shirt, and it feels fantastic. Absolutely love it. I had a listener ask about the prank calls, which I want to get into in more specificity a little later on. I was going through a lot of listener email because, I had to print out all the remaining entries for the garage door opener contest with the LiftMaster top of the line opener that were given away from Banco overhead doors. So, I spent a lot of time Friday and Saturday printing out just the tons and tons of entries. And I tell you what, most people, well, everybody, but one or two, only like two stragglers. I had one come in at 12:02 a.m. on Saturday, and technically, sorry, but then I had another one come in, Saturday afternoon, and that would be but I think there were only two late ones. I mean, for the most part, for the garage door opener contest, Banco is a phenomenal sponsor here on the MJ Morning Show, and they came to me and said, hey, do you want to give away one of these top-of-the-line LiftMasters? Installed, these things are close to $1,000. I'm like, hell yeah, why not? We do interesting giveaways here on the MJ Morning Show, whether it's rice cookers, and here's a garage door opener, that is, Wi-Fi connected, the video. I mean, they put them in at my house because, I'm doing commercials talking about them. And I said, yeah, I'll give one of these away. Absolutely. So this morning we'll announce the winner. Haven't decided exactly where, but sometime this morning I'll announce the winner. And we had a lot of great entries. I mean, there were tons and tons of great entries. The actual number of entries exceeded my expectations as far as the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people trying to score this garage door opener. So sometime this morning, we will give that away and read the winning entry here on the MJ Morning Show. Chuck Woolery has died. Holy moly. You haven't heard about him for years and years and years. And I just can't believe that Chuck Woolery was 83 years old.
Yeah. I was looking back. I vaguely remember watching Love Connection when I was a kid, but I didn't quite remember the premise. And
when you were a kid, you were in your 20s or 30s when that thing was on. When was Love Connection on?
I watched it. I mean, maybe it was reruns then, but it was a long time ago that it was on. Well, let's see.
No, Love Connection was like 80s, 90s. Hang on. When I'm gonna go. When did Love Connection run? Hang on a minute. Love Connection, 11-year run. So Love Connection was 83 to 94.
Yeah, when I was a kid. So I used to watch it, and I vaguely remember. I knew it was
hold
like
on. What are your parameters for a kid? It wasn't like you were.
I wasn't an adult. I wasn't voting.
In 90,
I wasn't drinking.
In 94, you weren't a kid.
Who cares? Whatever. I remember watching it as a kid. I don't remember watching it in college. I never watched Love Connection in college, but I definitely watched it when I was a kid. And so I just didn't remember exactly what the premise was. But did you remember that they had 3 videos or 3 different contestants? The contestant, the guy, had already gone on a date with one of those, and then the audience voted and picked whichever one they thought fit him best if he didn't have a successful date. So it was like the original Bachelor.
I forgot the premise I just remember it was a dating show, and yeah, if that's the way it went down, then I guess you're right. I just don't remember exactly, how it went down. I just remember the thing I remember from Love Connection was Chuck Woolery saying,
"We'll do it in 2 and 2."
Yeah, that was his big tagline.
Back in 2 and 2. What would that mean? Like 2 minutes plus 2 minutes for the commercial break or something like that?
We'll do it in 2 and 2.
Whatever that meant. He used to put his hand up and do the do 2 front ways, then flip his hand around and give you 2 the other way. And,
we'll do it in 2 and 2.
Yeah. Oh, here's some more Love Connection. Chuck Woolery, who passed away at 83 years old.
So you have this great job that helps you meet women.
Yeah,
Now, are you a bartender or a disc jockey or a what?
Better,
What?
better. I'm part-time. I promote for rock and roll bands on the Sunset Strip, and I just have the option of just meeting women all day long.
Yeah.
I love it.
Promoting rock and roll bands on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah,
Like
pass
at
out
Grizzards
flyers.
or places like, what is that place?
Gazzari's, the Troubadour, the Rocks.
So
I'm
all
just
of
out
those places. I
passing
see.
out flyers all day long.
Have any of these women that you've met ever turned into a serious relationship, or is it all just kind of superficial?
It's superficial, but gotta tell you, if I've had like 40 or 50 like one-night stands, just meeting these women on Strip. It's
Well, I
true.
won't ask you to define that. I just take your word. Don't take a look at the women that Ray had to choose from. Now, remember, you're going to pick the woman that you think's best for him.
So that's Love Connection. Hey, Andrew, why am I having a freaking wicked case of deja vu in playing that audio bite? Did we play that in the last couple of years when something else with Chuck Woolery came up? I'm telling you, I am having the most wicked, flippin' deja vu event right now playing. I mean, I knew what he was going to say before he said it.
Maybe you watched that episode.
No, I'm telling you, I would. For whatever reason, I've heard that Why would I have heard that recently? That's bizarre. And then, of course, Chuck Woolery was the original host of Wheel of Fortune. Hey, I'll get to that in a second. So here's what happened. Died Saturday, so over the weekend. He's not going to be back in 2 and 2, by the way. He's totally checked out. But I just have a hard time grasping that Chuck Woolery was 83 years old. My God.
You thought he was younger?
Yeah, I just, it just doesn't register that the dude is 83 years old.
See, I'm opposite. I would have thought he was older than that.
No, what, 95?
Well, I'm just picturing, it just shows you I'm picturing Love Connection as like a really old fashioned show back in the whatever. And I guess it was, 80s and 90s, but yeah, I thought he was older than that.
So he was having trouble breathing at his home in Texas, according to a Chuck Woolery friend. His friend posted on X, "It is with a broken heart that I tell you that my dear brother, Chuck Woolery, has just passed away. Life will not be the same without him. R.I.P. brother." He was born in 1941 in Kentucky. Veteran, was on the USS Enterprise.
Which show host is Froggy related to? Not Chuck Woolery, right?
John Davidson.
John
But
Davidson, that's right.
Was he really he was like a talk show host. He wasn't really a game show host. And he might have done a game show along the way. But anyway, Chuck Woolery, rest in peace, 83 years old. And also a clip from when he was on Wheel of Fortune. And I remember when Wheel of Fortune used to do something that I thought was great. Love this part. And this, when I was a kid, I do remember this, when I was in probably middle school or high school. This was much older than Love Connection, but when he hosted Wheel of Fortune, they did something on the show that they don't do anymore, and that's when the contestant won and they had all that money piled up. They got to go on a shopping spree, and they used to, like, there was the studio was filled with all these prizes. Like, there's a patio set, there's a TV, a living room set, there's a lawnmower, a blender, some hockey stick. I mean, you name it, all kinds of crap. like you were at like Sears or something. And here, listen to the audio.
Kids room, $1,575. Atlanta, Georgia, right on down to roller skates.
Let's see. For $379, I'd like the telescope.
Okay.
So this guy won the wheel. He beat out the other two contestants, and he's got this pile of money, and then he goes on a shopping spree. He just bought a telescope. You hear that?
Yeah.
Hold on. The first, listen here.
Kids room, $1,575. Atlanta, Georgia, right on down to roller skates.
Let's see. For $379, I'd like the telescope.
For $379, he took the telescope. Oh my God! All right. So again, the whole studio had all these prizes, and you go on a shopping spree with your winnings. That's the way Wheel of Fortune was originally played.
Okay.
For $85, I'd like the camera.
For $85, I want the camera. What kind of camera are you getting for $85?
All right. Still got over $1,100.
For $330, the cordless telephone.
What?
The cordless telephone for $330.
What the hell? Like, what, like a Cobra cordless?
Yeah.
Remember all the cordless with the little antenna you pulled up?
Yeah.
The cordless phone you had like in the kitchen or something? Oh my God. $300+ for a cordless freaking phone? All right.
Sure.
And that's like early 1980s money right there.
$780.
For $699, the books.
Hold on, what?
What? How?
600. The book with like the Encyclopedia Britannica? Did he say $6.99 the books? Holy frig!
Okay, you got books the last time. A lot of books. $82. Get the roller skates.
I'll get the roller skates. Yes.
Good. And the rest.
Wait, $82. $82. I'll take the roller skates, and then what they say, the rest on account or the rest on a gift certificate. Oh, that's right. You had a choice. Whatever money was left over, you could either put it on account or you could get a gift certificate. Hang on, here we go.
Rest on the counter or a Giorgio gift certificate?
In a gift certificate.
You got it. Here's Charlie O'Donnell. Charlie.
Right, you are, Chuck.
Well, right, you are, Chuck. Hey, Charlie O'Donnell, a famous game show announcer. Hey. Anyway, Chuck Woolery, original Wheel of Fortune host, and Love Connection, Chuck Woolery, dead, 83 years old. Holy crap. Oh, I didn't get the Mike. What time is it? 6:33?
Mike Tyson stuff.
Yeah, I didn't get the Mike Tyson. Anyway, I can mention this quickly. So Mike Tyson has been offered $125,000 to host a Christmas party with his butt showing. Like in the locker room during the whole Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Or Jake Paul, rather, during the whole Jake Paul, Netflix boxing debacle. They were showing the locker rooms, and there was a shot of Tyson in his locker room where his butt was just total Tyson ass.
Butt crack.
So someone's offering Mike Tyson to host a Christmas party with his butt hanging out of chaps for $125,000. He just made $20 million doing that Netflix thing. You think he's going to take 100? Well, he might.
Yeah.
He just might do that. If I have time, I'll get into that later on. Early morons in the news next on the MJ Morning Show. Great pile of morons minutes away. Let me tell you about two college brothers moving in storage. If you're making a move. It is 6:43, MJ Morning Show, Monday morning, and the morons have arrived. Yeah, if you're listening for the garage door opener contest winner, that'll happen at my whim. Later on, I don't know, 8 o'clock hour maybe. I'll figure it out. But I'm excited about this. God, so many good entries, so different, so many amazing entries. Hundreds and hundreds of entries. I mean, more than I ever imagined. A lot of people want this garage door opener. Listen, nearly $1,000 prize installed from Banco Overhead Doors, and it's the top of the line LiftMaster. They don't make anything better than this one, and someone's going to win it coming up here on the MJ Morning Show. All right, early morons of the news. Hey, Andrew, did you put the audio back? I didn't get to this last week. Did you put the audio back up of the father defending the daughter? All right, so it's Alyssa Zinger's father. That name sound familiar? Alyssa Zinger?
I don't recognize that name.
She is the 23-year-old that posed as a teenager to then molest a middle school kid. Remember, we does that sound familiar?
I remember the story. I don't remember that being her name, but obviously it is. That was a while ago, right?
Probably in the last 8 months. I think it was earlier this year that we talked about this, and I remember, and I don't want this to sound creepy, but we were commenting on how hot her mugshot was.
The case stems back to May 2023, but maybe
Right.
the investigation didn't come out until the last few months.
I think we talked about it earlier this year. Do you remember? Here's the. So you just Googled it, right?
Yeah.
All right. So remember her?
Oh yeah.
That's. I mean,
I
her.
remember that face.
Her mugshot is like smoking hot. I don't want to sound all creepatola over here, but it's like, listen, if she looks like this in her mugshot, if she like fixes herself up just slightly, I mean, I don't want to say knock it. Well, you know, I mean, she's an attractive young woman. So what is she doing? You know, clearly there's some, some issues upstairs here, but the father was caught on police body cam defending the daughter. Now, this is some time ago, but the video, the body cam video, has been made available. I maybe through public, information request. But the father of Alyssa Zinger was caught on camera defending his 23-year-old daughter, who's been dubbed a predator after she was accused of preying on and molesting a boy who was in middle school, and insisted to the cops that she was actually the victim. And the body cam footage is what's new here. We didn't have access to this body cam footage. So Alyssa Zinger is from right here in the Tampa Bay area. Alyssa Zinger of Tampa was arrested a year ago. This was November of last year, 2023. And she was hit with sex crime charges. Cops got a tip that she had posed online as a 14-year-old girl to meet young boys, according to the police report. When cops first showed up at the family's home to take her devices, phone, computer, etc., Zinger's dad tried to claim that she was the one who had been taken advantage of. This is according to the body cam footage, which was received by the Law and Crime website, right? I got to play this audio. It's like the father is like all out defense, like her defense attorney over here. And let me play some of this. It's about a minute long, so I want to be able to start and stop this. But again, this is like a new chapter in this story, which it was just bizarre. A 23-year-old posing as a teenager to then pick up a middle school aged boy, pretending that she was 14. I mean, what the hell? All right, so just pick up an 18-year-old guy and make it legal. I mean, what was the thrill here of a pretty attractive 23-year-old woman that wants to get with middle school boys?
One of the boys this particular boy, she hooked up with him approximately 30 times at his residence.
Yeah, those details sound familiar because I know we talked about the story. So the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office made the arrest, and the body cam footage comes from HCSO. All right, listen to this. Here's the father trying to defend when the sheriff's office from Hillsborough County made the move to seize her electronics as they were putting this case together and investigating.
This situation sucks. Me not going in my home right now, that's the least of my worries. I got a beautiful young daughter that's this shouldn't be happening. She's got a lot of problems and mental issues and stuff. And
all right, so the dad, I remember we talked about this, that there were claims that she had some mental issues. So listen, you can be 23 and pretty hot and have mental problems.
Mm-hmm. Anybody can have mental problems.
And that's the dad. But listen, I'll hold her image. Let me. If you're watching MJTV, here's her mugshot. So if this is her Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office mugshot, probably taken down at Orion Road, right? I mean, imagine if she looks this good in a mugshot. Imagine when she's not cuffed and stuffed.
Well, I'm watching video of her right now in the courtroom, and she's got her hair in 2 braids, pigtail braids. And you know who she looks like, MJ? She looks like a very young, not 14 years old, young Charlize Theron. Like from the side,
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right, so here's a little more of the audio. This is Dad defending, and this is picked up from the HCSO deputy's body cam.
Sucks. I don't know if you have kids, but
yeah, we have 2 kids. I have 2 kids. Yeah.
You can imagine.
I'm sorry to hear that, by the way.
Well,
so.
I mean, she got messed up with the wrong kid. You know, even though he's a lot younger, he is. Put it this way: my daughter, my wife works for the federal government. 38 years, never been in trouble in her life, not a single thing. My daughter, the same thing. Me, stupid little shit when I was a kid. But we're good, honest people, hardworking people, and she just she's never been in trouble in her life or nothing, but she met a kid, and even though he's young, that's why we're in this situation, she never been in trouble in her life until she was 13 with him. And this kid's like insane.
Yeah.
Until she met him pretending to be 14.
Well, yeah. You're leaving out the part that your 23-year-old daughter is pretending to be a 14-year-old girl online to pick up, what was the kid like? How old was the kid? The kid was, I think, the kid
Didn't
she
we see
picked
14
up. Well, no, well, he was between 12 and 15.
Right.
So the way they categorize it, you know, she was taken into custody. She was accused of engaging with this young boy at least 30 times in sexual acts with at least one middle school student between the ages of 12 and 15. Also sent explicit videos of herself to others. So at the time of her arrest, you had Tampa Police Chief Lee Burkaw described Zinger as a predator and said that she could have more victims. So I'm trying to remember all the details, but Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office was involved in this, and then also TPD was involved. Maybe I'm trying to remember. Maybe because HCSO made the arrest, but was the young boy in TPD, Tampa's jurisdiction?
Maybe that's what it was.
Anyway, I mean, but to hear the father's like trying to make an excuse. And,
you know, he was a bad kid. You know, she was totally fine until she got messed up with him.
Bad kid. She picks up like a 12 or a 13-year-old apparently from middle school.
Yeah, who has the upper hand in that situation?
And she's 23. Anyway, that's new. So the body cam audio, a year later, has been made available. I'm just looking at her mugshot. I don't want to dwell on this, but come on. All right, so you want a young guy. Get an 18-year-old that at least is legal, that maybe looks a little younger. I mean, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man. All right, so little update on...
She's got some problems.
And the story's a zinger, man.
It is.
Alyssa Zinger.
Zingers are jokes. This is no joke.
Yeah, of Tampa. All right, 6:53 at the MJ Morning Show. A little early morons in the news. You know, I didn't get to a good portion of the pile. You know, I might carry... You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to carry morons, because I spent a lot of time on that with the audio and everything. So I'm going to carry part 2, morons in the news, over in just a second. So stand by. Hey, weather-tight windows. Speaking of Holiday Road, our little rejoiner bumper music here. I saw also Tampa International Airport's expecting record travel. Well, guess what? Good news for me and my spouse, Michelle. We're staying put. Our butts are planted right here. We're not traveling anywhere. Oh, and Chloe, too, because Chloe is at home at least until, late summer, depending on where the heck she decides to go to law school. Yeah, so Tampa International Airport, they say, might break records for air travel during this holiday season. So Thanksgiving and Christmas. And, we'll be traveling Christmas, but we're going to be traveling early because typically we leave for Christmas break like mid-December. So we try to, beat the big rush, versus traveling, a couple of days before Christmas. That can be a nightmare, obviously. But no, it feels good. Feels good that we're not traveling this Thanksgiving. We're right here. Julian's flying home. Julian comes home tomorrow. So Tuesday shouldn't be too bad. Because what are they? The worst day to travel is like Wednesday.
They say Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon are going to be the worst, and then Sunday.
Well, hold on. Well,
makes sense.
Julian's coming home tomorrow, but I thought tomorrow would be. Wednesday is going to be worse than Tuesday, I would imagine.
Well, what I've read is that Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be the worst, definitely on the roads. Tuesday and Wednesday afternoon, and then of course Sunday. Travel day back. Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah, that's the travel day back. But, but every year, Sunday after Thanksgiving is the biatch.
Well, if you think about it, though, we're not working on Wednesday morning. So a lot of people, if they are, they have kids who are out of school this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the parents are like, well, we'll work Monday and Tuesday, but we'll take off Wednesday. So Tuesday is going to be a bad road travel day as well.
And I don't even know when Julian's going back. I don't know when he's flying back. Hey, Andrew, just before I forget, on the Alyssa Zinger, the father video, I think you missed an S-bomb in there.
I'm glad you pointed that out.
Yeah, just it was fleeting though. It was a fleeting news bite with Alyssa Zinger's father.
Zinger.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, what do I have? I've got a couple other morons of the news. This is not very holiday-like. This is not. I mean, 'tis the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I usually don't do like Canadian stories unless there's like a really good story. But I think this qualifies, and this is nuts. A woman who's 62 slugged another person at a Santa Claus parade because they were blocking her view. What the hell?
Getting physical to get that view.
62-year-old woman clearly needs to get a little more in the Christmas spirit. As she hit another spectator up in Canada. This was St. Thomas, wherever. The woman reportedly became irate because the victim that got hit, got pummeled, blocked her view of the Santa Claus parade. Yeah, according to local police in Canada, the St. Thomas Police Service, the female got into a dispute with a fellow parade goer who obstructed her family's view of the parade. The suspect struck the victim in the face, knocking them to the ground.
Wow, 62-year-old woman can throw down.
Well, she did. She, started pummeling. Yeah, this happened Saturday night, so it's pretty fresh. This happened the other night. Now, where the hell's St. Thomas? 115 miles northeast of Detroit.
I just keep thinking of St. Thomas in the Caribbean.
Nope, not that one. And then 125 miles southwest of Toronto. We were out and about. We were out and about at the Santa Claus parade up in here in the Great White North, and had a few too many Molsons.
Let me
had
ask
a few too many Labatts.
Okay, when you get into Molsons, it sounds like you sound like a leprechaun. Out and about. You got that down.
No. Out and about.
Out and about.
Out and about. Out and about.
What else can you say in a Canadian accent aside from out and about?
Mush, move the troops, or move the mush. What is that? There's another expression. Mush.
Andrew can probably do it. He hangs around hockey players enough to get that accent down.
Anyway, hey, listen to this. Let's we'll bring it back down. Bring it back down to the U.S. here. In Ohio, and this is a heads up, if you're a school administrator, I'm going to give you a tip on how to preserve your job and not get fired. This is from Ohio. A principal at a school. This is a high school principal in Ohio, in the burbs of Cincinnati, where WKRP was. The principal has resigned because he allowed a former student who's older and not a student anymore, allowed the student to attend classes and eat at the school.
Ooh.
This is Robert Burnside, very well-liked high school principal, apparently.
Can't say no to people either.
Resigned on Friday as he came under fire after it was discovered by the school district that he was helping a student who was homeless. This is, I guess, a former student that was a student at one point when he was of age at the high school. As his resignation comes 3 weeks after he was put on leave pending the investigation. Records show that the district investigated Burnside for allegedly allowing a former student who was experiencing homelessness to attend classes and eat in the school cafeteria. What? The kid graduated, he was done, and you invite him back to go back to school? It's like Rodney Dangerfield, that old movie when I was in high school. Back to school. This is nuts. So they've relieved the guy. Very popular principal, but you can't do that.
No, I mean, you can obviously see this guy was a well-liked principal. He obviously was trying to help this person, but you can't do it.
I mean, you can't have a non-student come to school, go to classes, and then feed him in the cafeteria. Listen, Mr. Principal, if you want to help this former student out, well,
give him a job there.
Well, put him up in your house or you know, give him money so he can feed himself. That is nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you can tell the guy has compassion. I'm reading all these comments that his various students and other people even who've worked for him and other parents have written about him. He's one of the best principals I've ever had, always joyful and excited to see everyone.
They love this guy.
So much so, come on back. I'll see you again.
Well, he did himself in. They're not going to tolerate that. All right, closer to the Tampa Bay area, we have one of these bonehead influencers. I mean, the whole, I'm an influencer. That just drives me nuts. The terminology, oh, what do you do? Oh, I'm an influencer. Wait, well, hold on. Your job, I'm an influencer. Now, some of these influencers have a huge splash and presence on social media. Some make a good living. But just to have this like self-importance of, or those that think they're influencers that try to demand all kinds of free crap, and if you don't give them the free crap, then they're gonna suddenly turn their influencer activity negative against you. I mean, just the blackmail with some of these influencers, or the sense of entitlement that everyone should know who you are. Oh, yeah, I've got 100,000 followers on TikTok or on Instagram. I'm an influencer. I mean, that crap just, it incenses me. And then we have this idiot influencer.
But follow us on Instagram, Certified MJ Radio, and at Roxanne Wilder. Thank you.
No, listen. I'm a radio personality. I don't label myself an influencer. Now, could we be among the original influencers as radio morning show broadcasters? Sure, I think we might fall in that category. Certainly over the years, I have influenced a lot of people. When I talk about some of the things that I really like, does that influence people? When I talk about like the Zoji Rushi rice maker that I love, and we've given away a bunch of these things, have I had tons of people say, hey, MJ, what's that brand of rice cooker that you love?
Oh, yeah. People ask me that to ask you that.
I seriously, I get probably 10 times a month someone says, hey, what's that rice cooker that you gave away and that you love? And it's Zoji Rushi, man. I love it. So am I influencing? Sure, but I'm a radio broadcaster. I'm a morning show host. I don't consider myself an influencer like these folks that just, they have a couple of social media accounts and, hey, I'm an influencer. Anyway, listen to this bonehead. This young woman has been arrested for shoplifting from Target after she flaunted the stolen goods on TikTok as part of her influencing crap. This happened down in Cape Coral. This is just south of the Tampa Bay area. This is a little south of Sarasota and Venice. Marlena Velez, 22, has nearly 300,000 followers on TikTok, which, by the way, I think part of the TikTok model to attract people, to make people seem like they're more important than they are. I honestly believe that the Chinese spy operation, TikTok, I think that they pad numbers on two fronts. I think that followers are padded to make people feel like they're more important, to bolster the platform. So I think that the follower count, I think that TikTok fudges those and jams up followers. And the other thing, which I think is even more egregious and more prevalent, I think that TikTok completely jams up the number of views. I think that the view numbers for a lot of the videos are absolutely phony. I think that's part of their allure to bring people in and to build up their platform, is to fake a lot of these numbers to make people think that they're more important, that their presence is bigger. So I don't believe the TikTok number. And we all know about the data theft. And, things are coming to a head after the first of the year. It'll be interesting to see what the new administration does. But you have, on both sides of the aisle, folks understand the data damaging effects and the tracking that's happened and why TikTok is a national security threat. And there's plenty out there if you want to do additional research. All right, so this influencer, this Marlena Velez, she posts videos about her life as a mom of two kids, 22 years old, and has two kids already, facing theft charges down in Cape Coral, stole over $500 from a Target down in Cape Coral. This is back on October 30th. Local police said that they were called to Target for a report of retail theft. When the cops arrived on the scene, the Target loss prevention staff told them that this unknown female entered the store, took a whole bunch of items in her shopping cart, and once she was at the self-checkout register, loss prevention staff said that the influencer scanned a fake barcode listing cheaper prices. So I don't know whether she was, she must have had like a barcode on paper that she was scanning to make the thing go beep, 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 and then ring it up. But she was scanning a barcode that was much cheaper. And they've got ways, they're watching, they're making sure you're not skip coding, where you like scan one, up, and then, or if you have two or three of the same item, you scan one or two, you put the third one through for free. Well,
it sounds like with this scam, I'm just guessing, but if she just has one barcode, it's ringing up the same price for each item. Yeah, so that's gonna be a red flag somewhere in the system. Wait, why do we keep seeing the same item come up?
Or she might have had multiple barcodes that she was scanning. Anyway, the jig was up. They caught her. They busted her for this scam thing. So she's at the checkout counter. She got the fake barcode. This is according to the Fort Myers News Press. And in total, she stole 16 items. Household goods, clothes, so the value was just over $500. And as part of the investigation, police posted a photo of the suspect, which was captured on surveillance video, and it showed her wearing glasses, long black hair, tan shirt, tan pants. And after the Cape Coral Police Department posted her image on their website and social media, they started getting anonymous tips from people that followed her on social media saying exactly who she was. Then the cops were able to unfold the whole deal.
They were able to identify her based on the size of her lips.
Yeah, so
quite a few lip injections.
Yeah, you think so? So the TikTok page included a "Get Ready With Me" video from the day of the alleged shoplifting incident. Showed her in the same outfit going to Target and TJ Maxx, where I guess if you're using fake barcodes to scan cheaper items, you're really getting the max for the minimum at TJ Maxx. Isn't that their slogan? Yeah. Is it get the max for the minimum at TJ Maxx? Was that a jingle at some point?
I think so.
Anyway, she then documented herself picking out items inside the store, placing them in her car afterward. And she erased her TikTok account after all this, but then she put the TikTok account back on. She might have just suspended it. But ultimately, she's been charged with one count of petty theft, more than $100, less than $750. She's back on. I mean, this girl's a mess. She was first arrested at the age of 17 in 2019 for grand theft auto. She stole her friend Amanda Santana's car and smashed it. My God.
Amanda Santana.
Amanda Santana. Holy crap. Hell on wheels. Oh, my God. So we've got this influencer. She's a thief. What a piece of crap. Yeah, she was also arrested for shoplifting at a Walmart July of 2023 down in Fort Myers as well. Holy crap.
Is that the commercial you're thinking of?
Oh, yeah. Get the max for the minimum at TJ Maxx.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hang on a minute. Let me see if this is this is 1987. Oh, my God. This is a long time ago. Let me hear this thing. TJ Maxx. Oh, yeah.
Over 10,000 brand name fall fashions arrive at TJ Maxx every week. So it's never the same place twice. No, it's never, ever the same place twice.
Yeah, hey.
Next week, next Saturday night, you get the max for the minimum price. And it's never, ever the same place twice.
TJ Maxx. Yeah, look at that. Little classic.
Old school jingle, yeah.
It's 7:20 at the MJ Morning Show. I'm running late, but we start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ next. So last week we were talking about damaged packages are through the roof. We got 3 that were beat to hell on Friday, and that's a whole different story I got to tell coming up. Back in a second, hour 20 minutes, nonstop MJ. Oh, I saw a billboard that I've got to address when I was returning the items that were beat to hell. So I thought this was absolutely fascinating, and I think that my assumption is accurate. Oh, and people are calling me a Scrooge. I posted a video yesterday on my Instagram, and people are saying, oh, MJ, you're a Scrooge. Hang on, that's coming up next, and I'll explain that whole deal, whatever the hell's going on. All right, if you're in a car wreck, $7:28 at the MJ Morning Show, and this is it. Every morning, usually around 7:25, a few minutes late this morning, we start an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ, and you always get more. It's never less. It's never exactly an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop. It's always more. Monitor it. Time me. You'll see. It's always more, and sometimes significantly more than an hour and 20 minutes of non-stop MJ. So, got a little crap for one of my posts on Instagram. I'll get to that here in just a bit. Oh, and people love this picture of Michelle. Took a picture of Michelle on Saturday night. We were invited out with some friends, and Michelle holding a rose. I'll get into this in just a bit, but I always encourage you to follow my Instagram at Certified MJ Radio, and the show Instagram is MJ Morning Show. Got a great video. Thanks, Gabe. I appreciate it. Gabe, who is the owner of Early Bird Dumpsters, a company that was recommended to me during the hurricanes, and I was thrilled with this dude because we had about 8-10 houses at the end of my street where we just had debris and all kinds of, mostly yard debris. On the end of my street, the houses are built up higher, so there wasn't the flooding issue. But there was still we still had water in our garages, so there was some debris, but it was mostly just tree limbs and all that crap. And instead of waiting for the city to remove it, the neighbor said, you know what, we want to try to get the life back to normal, and we hired this dumpster company. This is a small business guy. His name is Gabe. And Gabe owns a company called Early Bird Dumpsters, where he's got like 10-yard, 15-yard, and 20-yard dumpsters, and he drops them off. You fill them up, and then he gets there quickly and picks them up. Boom. And it's reasonably priced. It's cost-effective. And then he became a sponsor. So the fact that I just mentioned him on the show, he was getting tons of calls during the hurricane. But, of course, after the hurricane, and you still have people that, need to clean out stuff, or you've got, demolition, or you've got construction work getting done. So, the guy does a great job. Anyway, he sent me this morning, 6:10, he sent me a picture of the SpaceX launch. So an East Coast rocket. And those are always great. Or after sunset, I've seen them, when I'm out on an evening walk and you see the rockets. It's like that with the space shuttle. When the space shuttles used to go, it's just awesome on a clear night, even during the day, to see the space shuttle launch. But now you get the SpaceX rocket. So, Gabe, thank you very much. And yeah, little plug for the dude, because service is great. So if you need, the drop off and pick up dumpsters, call Gabe. Just search for Early Bird Dumpsters or earlybirddumpsters.com. Little bonus plug for him because he's really fantastic. Earlybirddumpsters.com when you need a great dumpster service. Simple as that. Oh, look, I just heard Don the IT guy just texted me. Don the IT guy, I used Early Bird. Great service.
Aww.
Literally, Don the IT guy from Team Logic IT just texted me as we're talking about Gabe. All right. My Instagram issues here. First of all, I'm a Scrooge because I was wondering, when the ornaments were to fly off a vehicle and start pelting cars behind them. All right, take a look at this thing. And listen, I'm not a Scrooge. I'm just pointing something out. Oh, MJ, bah humbug, you're a Scrooge. So I'm driving on Dale Mabry yesterday, and I see this Jeep, like a Jeep Wrangler, a hardtop Jeep Wrangler, and they have a massive wreath on the back, and it's like it's covering the spare tire. So they've got this, it looks like they've built a wreath around the spare tire, and it is huge. There's a big tire on the back of this Jeep, and it's loaded with with ornaments. Looks like what candy canes are on there. There's all kinds of the Christmas balls that you hang from your tree. It looks like there's garland on there. And listen, I asked the question. Let me run this audio. Here, listen. How long before that stuff starts flying off that car and smashing into people's cars? Freaking ornaments flying all over the place. All right, so I'm just asking the question. Just an observation. And then people are like, oh, MJ, you Scrooge. But the stuff is like flapping all over the place. So then people are like, MJ, it's duct tape on there or they're zip tied. Anyway, I'm just concerned for motorists that Christmas decorations are going to start flying off this Jeep.
I don't know. That sounds pretty bah humbuggy to me.
Oh,
That's
fine.
supposed to get you in the Christmas spirit.
Humbug. Listen, I'm just making hey, folks, a little bit of levity, all right? I'm observational. It's it's pretty much a joke, all right. I'm not being 100% serious, but some people take me way too seriously when I post something, and they'll go on the attack and they'll leave some comments and hey, Scrooge, come on, give me have a sense of humor. It's a 13-second video. If you want to see it and if you want to leave a nasty comment, go ahead. On Instagram, I'm Certified MJ Radio. That's Certified MJ Radio. And see the Jeep heading north on Dale Mabry. I mean, look at this. Look at the balls are like flying all over the place. You're telling me that not one of these ornaments is going to fly off while the guy's going 70 miles an hour on the interstate? Come on. This guy's balls are going to be...
He's going to lose his balls.
He is.
His balls are going to cause an accident.
Balls are going to fly off and hit somebody right in the windshield, right in their face. They get a hit with this guy's balls. Anyway, so the video is on my Instagram, Certified MJ Radio, and on a much, much sweeter note. Oh wow, over 500 likes already here. Michelle on Saturday night. And I hope she doesn't get angry at me saying this, but we were out with friends. We were at Donatello on Saturday night, and after dinner, we went to the bar to watch Scotty's band play, and they're fantastic. Scotty's always love it when he's playing at Donatello, and we're there. So, listen, we're, just hanging out. We didn't drive. We took an Uber there. We took an Uber home. Actually, we took a Lyft there and an Uber home.
You're fine.
I shop. Do you shop? Would you? I shop them. I've got both apps. I've got Uber and Lyft. And I'll give you an example. We took a Lyft there because from my house to Donatello on Saturday night at like $6.50, the Uber was like $16. The Lyft was $7.75. I mean, that's a major difference.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
And listen, sometimes Uber is cheaper than Lyft. So if you use the ride shares, folks, you make sure you have accounts with both. and you got both apps. And I hope you shop them because the price difference can be amazing. Anyway, I think I captioned the picture of Michelle. Well, I guess I can read you the caption. I don't think Michelle's going to be angry at me. Michelle feeling no pain at Donatello, Tampa on a Saturday night.
That's fun. That's what we do on a Saturday
I know.
night.
We had a nice time with friends. I guess I can say this. I was out with my buddy Bobby, and we were out with Dennis Phillips from ABC Action News and his wife Robin. And it was a great night out.
I love them.
It was a phenomenal night.
I don't know Bobby, but I love Dennis.
Yeah, we had a six top, and then after a great dinner, we headed to the bar and then watched Scotty's band play. And there's an awesome picture of my lovely wife Michelle on my Instagram. If you've heard her on the show and you don't know what Michelle looks like, you can take a look. Certified MJ Radio, that's certified, and she's holding a couple of roses in her hand, and she's smiling. This is a great picture. She looks great.
Yeah, beautiful.
I'm very attracted to her.
I actually didn't see it.
30 years later, I just want to point out, 30 years later, I'm very attracted to her. Certified MJ Radio, if you want to see the picture of Michelle, Certified MJ Radio on Instagram, and give me a follow if you don't follow. Yes, Rox?
I saw the photo on Chloe's story because she'd reposted it. That's where I first saw it. And I thought to myself, Michelle looks lovely. And she captioned it, my mom is the most beautiful or something.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah, what's she bucking for? She's buttering up Michelle for something. I don't know.
She's getting on Santa's good list.
I don't know what the hell it is. I saw this last week. I've had it in the pile. I'm like, what? There's a new study that finds serious consequences for health for people that eat after 5 p.m. What?
I saw that too. Like it was, you know what? It's funny because I read that and I was like, this is an aggressive headline. This is like almost the same as there are serious consequences for people who smoke crack 3 times a day. It was like that level of severity. Warning, warning.
Drink too many soft drinks, you're going to lose your legs. I mean, what? No, I just made that one up. Although you could lose your feet and toes with diabetes if you do too much sugar. I mean, who the hell knows? But I saw this concerning study finds serious consequences for people's health if you eat after 5 p.m. What are they trying to make us, all early bird specials?
Yeah.
Before 4 p.m., get the early bird special. Doctors have advised people, obviously, that if you want to lose weight, that you should not eat later. Listen, I've heard this, but I mean, what? I mean, dinner time, 6:30, 7:30, dinner. Anytime after, the kids are not even home from after-school activities. Kids, cancel all after-school. We're having dinner at 4:45 every freaking day. 4:45.
We don't want to die.
New research from Columbia University points to another major benefit of this advice for metabolic health, revealing that eating at least 45% of your daily calories after 5 p.m. hinders the body's ability to regulate blood sugar levels. Oh, yeah, your toes are getting chopped off. Eating later at night can drastically increase the risk of developing diabetes, blah, blah, blah. So now about 10% of Americans use intermittent fasting as a diet. Fans of the approach typically restrict daily eating to a 6-hour period, such as 11 a.m. to 5 p.m.
See, I know a lot of people who do the intermittent fasting, but then they're not having their bigger meal until, heavens no, 6 p.m.
I do, and without the study or, being scared into anything, I don't eat until usually 11 a.m. So I've had nothing this morning. I woke up, came to work, and obviously we're doing a morning show from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then after the show today, it's a Monday, so it's my X-Force body workout day. Oh, man, I just realized that my other day is Thursday, and that's Thanksgiving. What the hell do I do?
Wow.
I guess maybe I'll have to move that to guess got to move it to Wednesday if I can. Yeah, squeeze that workout in. Better see if I can do that later on. But so I don't eat until after 11 anyway, just the way my schedule is. And I also try to eat the biggest meal of the day. Now, weekends kind of put the kibosh on that, because if you're going out to dinner on a Friday or Saturday night, then, and we typically only go out one night a week. Typically, it's like just either a Friday night or a Saturday. We don't usually go out both nights. Just something great about sitting at home, opening up a bottle of wine, kicking back, watching, some streaming stuff. Like, we finished The Penguin. We finally finished.
Oh, how'd you like it?
I like it. I mean, very dark.
Mm-hmm.
But, and I got to be honest, why'd they have to pay, what's his face? Why'd they have to pay Colin Farrell all that money? You could put any schmo in that outfit and all that makeup and prosthetics. You didn't need it. I mean, how much they paid Colin Farrell? You could have hired some homeless guy and just slapped all that makeup on him, and they could have saved probably, $18 million.
Yeah. Doesn't look anything like him.
Anyway, no, The Penguin's good. But Michelle said, "Ooh, that's dark." Especially after the final episode of season 1. And then, I guess I can. And then at the very end, the bat signal goes up. Mm-hmm. That's the first time you see the first time you ever see anything bat. It was 8 episodes. And you know what else bothers me?
What?
HBO, I think, sort of started this trend. Remember when these streaming series used to be 10 or 12 episodes?
Mm-hmm.
They're all cutting back.
I noticed that.
Because they're trying to cheapen up the production costs. So a lot of these shows, they're scaling back. And the new, hot button number for these streaming shows is 8 episodes.
I think, I've been seeing them come in at 6.
Some are 6.
Yeah.
And
it's not enough.
This used to be, well, they have to compress the storytelling. Right. But it used to be that it was the standard was remember, it was 12 episodes.
Yes.
For a streaming season on Netflix or, whatever, HBO or Max now, that it was 12. Now, Penguin was 8 episodes.
And like you said, it compresses the storytelling. There's a sort of heartbeat that goes, a metronome for a standard 12 episode series. And now it doesn't feel right. You feel like you're missing chunks of it, or it's not allowed to develop into certain directions because it's compressed.
Yeah, Penguin's dark, but enjoyable. I did like it. I'll look forward to season number 2. But there was no reference to Batman during the entire run, except in the last 2 seconds of the final season 1 episode in episode 8. The final seconds, you see the bat signal go up in the clouds, and then they cut to black, and I guess I don't know how long we have to wait. But if you just put the same, you could hire. You know what? They could get Rosie O'Donnell for a lot cheaper.
Oh yeah.
Than Colin Farrell, and they don't have to pad her. They don't. So they just put the same prosthetics on Rosie O'Donnell, and and bam, they could probably save a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Anyway. It is 7:45. It's the MJ Morning Show here on Q105. It's 104.7 FM. We had done a story, and let me, Andrew, what did I do with that? Andrew handed me the story about here it is. We did an item last week, and I tell you what, sure as crap, on Friday, we get these boxes that show up, and they are mangled beyond belief. And my UPS guy is fantastic. So my UPS guy is Bobby. And Bobby's the best. Hands down, best UPS guy on the planet.
Was Bobby who you were at dinner with on Saturday night?
No, a different Bobby.
Oh, okay.
But I would gladly go to dinner with Bobby, my UPS. I probably ought to buy him dinner because he's that good. All right. So we had an item last week that 85 million packages arrived in the past year damaged. And the number is going through the roof. Why are so many packages you know what? Hey, Andrew, I want to go to phones on this. I want to grab some calls on this. Folks, I want to hear your pack, whether it's UPS, whether it's FedEx, whether it's U.S. Postal Service. I want to hear, or even Amazon, but Amazon is, is so locally controlled for the most part. Well, I guess sometimes you get the last mile delivery where you get Amazon deliveries that come U.S. Postal Service or UPS sometimes, or maybe even FedEx. But the bulk of our Amazon deliveries, at least here in the Tampa Bay area, are the local Amazon trucks. And those trucks are loaded, and all the merchandise is a lot of it's warehoused. Whether it's out in Sefner off of I-4, you got that big facility. You have another Amazon warehouse up out in Riverview area, right? So you got a ton of these Amazon warehouses. So those packages tend to arrive in better shape than something being shipped from out of state. And that's what happened to us on Friday. You know what? I want to load up phones here. So we did this story last week about 85 million packages arrived damaged in the last year. And the numbers are going through the roof. Oh, I remember the stat that 85 million packages equates to filling up 45,000 Olympic swimming pools. I mean, you can't even comprehend that.
No, you can't.
Number of packages.
Can't picture
But
it.
the number of damaged packages it's soaring. It's going through the roof. All right, fire up the phones now. And I'm going to tell my story, but while I tell my story, dial in. I want to hear from you, the MJ Morning Show listener, on any packages that you've received from any of the services that were just obliterated. Just damaged boxes, holes in boxes, just bashed up stuff. So, listen, I'm going to tell you right now that in the last week or so, I've had numerous damaged things. Remember, a week or 10 days ago?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I upgraded our turkey fryer because I'm frying a turkey on Thursday, and I ordered right from Bayou Classics. I ordered directly from Bayou Classic, the stainless steel turkey fryer kit. So I upgraded. I had the cheap one with the little thin aluminum pot, and I went to the stainless steel setup, to upgrade a bit. And the box arrives, and the box was actually in good shape. There was no damage to the box, but the huge 44-quart stainless steel pot inside, it was like a bus ran into the side of it.
Really?
It was like totally bashed in. All right, if you've had any damaged merchandise arrive, fire up the phones. I want to hear about your damaged boxes, your damaged deliveries, and how bad was it? 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. So we'll grab calls here in just a second. 800-990-1047. All right, so I want to hear about you. Have you received damaged stuff from, UPS or Amazon, U.S. Postal Service, or FedEx? Or I guess if you ordered internationally, DHL. So I'm just curious if you're one of the 85 million that had damaged packages in the last year. 800-990-1047. So, we did the story last week. And then on Friday, we get the 3 packages in. So we had to move the sandbags. And I waited until hurricane season was done. So I left all the sandbags. Remember, I with Willie Brown?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, your guy Willie.
I met Willie Brown on a side street next to the Home Depot at 275 in Dale Mabry, and I hired Willie Brown right out of his front yard to help me fill the sandbags. And so all of the 158 sandbags that we filled at Horizon? It's that that gravel yard right up on Lambright and Dale Mabry. That's where we filled. I bought 3 cubic yards of sand, and we filled up sandbags.
Yeah.
So I've had all the sandbags still all around the house because I wanted to wait for sure that hurricane season was done, complete, finished. And Michelle had this great idea because I'm not throwing these sandbags away. I want to keep these sandbags. I have $250 in sand, all of the sandbags. So Michelle was like, how do we store these? Do we just get some pallets and put them in the garage and, stack them up? Or what do we do? You don't want to sit them right on the concrete floor of the garage. So Michelle found these steel, like, carts. It's like a metal mesh cart that'll hold 1,000 pounds each. So she calcs it up, and if she does 8 or so high and the number that can fit on the cart, Michelle did the math. So she orders 3 of these carts from Harbor Freight. And I guess I could have just found a Harbor Freight locally that had 3 in stock and just, picked them up. But she ordered them. The shipping was negligible. It was like for all 3 of these things, the shipping was $6.99. Maybe that's why they got beat to hell. So these metal carts get shipped from Dillon, South Carolina, right? Mm-hmm. And they arrived here in the Tampa Bay area like they were thrown from a truck at 80 miles an hour on I-95 on the way down here.
All dinged up.
Oh, my God. These things were just destroyed.
So the actual box, when you look at the box, it's
listen,
done.
The box... couple of the boxes were so damaged that huge chunks ripped out that somewhere along the way, I think that UPS somewhere, they had to use clear box tape and patch up these boxes. They were just unbelievably damaged. And then on the steel deck of this cart, there are these welded bolts, 9 or 12 bolts that you have to fasten, all the stuff to. All of the bolts were protruding. I mean, totally smashed through the box, and the bolts are bent to the point where I couldn't even get the the hardware. I couldn't even get them. They were so bent. I mean, they were just destroyed. So I'm like, well, wait a sec. We just did a story earlier in the week about 85 million damaged packages arriving on doorsteps. Listen, I want to hear from you, the MJ Morning Show listener. I want to hear about your damaged deliveries. What have you gotten recently or in the last months that was just, completely destroyed? 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Just fire up the phones and tell me, how bad did you get damaged goods?
I told you about the one box that I received. It was a box that had boxes inside. And the odd thing was the outer box was not damaged. But the boxes inside, which could be gifts for people, were all bent out of shape.
You serious?
Yeah. Which didn't make sense because the outer box was fine. Well, but the inside box was.
But it's like my turkey fryer. The stainless steel pot was just dented to hell. I mean, it wasn't a little ding. I mean, this thing, and I still have it because Bayou Classics, they sent me a brand new one, which we actually got on Friday. So we got the new one, and so I remember I was joking. I'm going to take the old one to Gene Perez Body Shop and have him hammered out. So I'll have 2 pots now. All right, Andrew's got phones loaded, screened, ready to roll, and then. So I went to Harbor Freight. So 3 of these. This is great. So I had to call Harbor Freights around town because Michelle ordered them online. So I find that the Harbor Freight up in Palm Harbor has 3 of these metal carts that we're going to put all these sandbags on.
Right.
So they the one on Sheldon and Hillsborough, they had 1 in stock, and so I had to find. I'm not driving all over town pick up onesies.
No.
So they had 4 of them up in Palm Harbor. So Friday, 3 o'clock on Friday, I'm driving up to Palm Harbor to exchange these. So I bring the 3 boxes that are just destroyed. I mean, like they were hit with a missile. I mean, these things are just ridiculous. And I bring these things in. I guess the manager's up front. There's another employee up front, and they see me bringing these boxes, and they're like, "Oh man, what the hell happened to those?" So So, they took all three back. They gave me, three new ones, and I drove them back. And actually, Michelle did most of the assembly.
She put it together.
Yeah,
Nice.
I got the ratchet and I tightened everything down. But Michelle pretty much did the assembly on the three carts. I was very, very impressed. I put the Harbor Freight in Palm Harbor on US 19. They were very nice, taking back the boxes that looked like they'd been through nuclear war, and giving me three that were in pretty good shape. All right, phones are loaded here. Let's go to phones. And then after I finish with phone calls here, on the way back on US 19 South, in between Palm Harbor and Countryside Mall, I saw a billboard that I want to address. So hold on. Let me grab Jim in St. Pete. Jim, hi, you're on the MJ Morning Show on 104.7 FM, Q105. So tell me about your damage deliveries.
Damage deliveries, okay. It started with Petco. We were getting dog food through the mail, and it started out really good. We weren't getting any damage, but one package arrived like it was in World War II, and it was just... We opened the package up, and the cans of dog food were so destroyed that you couldn't even open the cans front or bottom or top. They were just totally bent.
My God.
So
so destroyed that you couldn't even use a can opener to open them up.
You couldn't even open them up. It looks like somebody, just I don't know. The boxes came. One of the boxes came like it wasn't even nothing wrong with it, but then when the food was open, it was just destroyed. Like they had rolled it until the cans just. Squishy.
Almost like they ran it over with a bulldozer and then packed it in a nice box.
And then put it in a better box. Exactly. And then we started getting stuff from Chewy, and everything was okay for a while. And then the boxes started looking damaged. Then we got one of the package where it looked like a forklift went through the box and hit the package inside, and the food was spilled all over the box.
My gosh.
We opened it up; it was all over the place.
Jeez.
That's terrible.
And now, it's like $70 a bag.
Wow. Well, listen. Obviously, Petco or Chewy, they're going to make good on it.
They did make good on it.
Yeah, they always will. So was it any particular delivery service? And all of them are having issues.
It was both FedEx and UPS.
Gotcha. All right. Thanks, Jim. I appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Did you, so you're essentially telling me that your dog died of starvation?
Yeah, you're right. No, that wouldn't happen.
All right. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you, buddy.
Appreciate you listening. All right. Let me grab Emery in Tampa. Emery, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Welcome.
Hey, good morning. Quickly, Amazon delivers, our packages inside our gate, outside the gate, right in front of the garage door sometimes, just all over the place. One day, garage doors open. We come out sometimes, packages could be inside the garage. This time, we didn't look outside the garage. The garage door was open, and, my girlfriend backs up. We're leaving, and she runs over the package that Amazon put right behind her tire.
Oh, really? She rolled over it?
Because they put it in a bad spot.
They delivered the package inside the garage door, but they put it on the ground right behind her rear tire of her car.
What the hell? Why would they do that? Would that be part of like basic training? Do not put the box under the tire?
Yeah, they do all kinds of funny
stuff. So what happened? The product was what, run over and destroyed?
It was partially destroyed. It was like vitamin supplements, powder form, and
so it's not like it was pill form that was turned to powder. It was already powder.
No, it was just the stuff that you mix with water and hydration stuff. But
gotcha.
No big deal.
All right, man. Thank you, Emery. Let me grab Curly. Curly in Tampa. Hey, Curly.
Good morning.
All right. Have you been a victim of damaged deliveries?
Yeah, last week.
What happened?
So UPS shows up to my door, and I was doing some stuff outside, and they dropped the box. And I see this box, and it looks like an accordion ready to play music. So I asked the guy, hey, what happened to the box? And this is the UPS driver.
Right.
He's like, well, that's how it came. And I'm like, okay, so it's Costco that I order a collectible item, a Pokemon pristine item that I'm looking forward to put in my collection, and the thing looks like it's been used as the soccer ball of the World Cup. So the guy tells me, well, you want to open the package to see what's wrong? So I'm like, yeah, I want to open the package. So, of course, I open it, and the thing is destroyed, completely destroyed. no longer a collectible. I can't put it in my top shelf or anything like that. So obviously I didn't blame UPS guy in a sense because he told me you should have seen the other packages in his truck. I don't know. So I went to Costco because Costco has a pretty good return policy. They offered.
Oh, crap. You can buy a TV set there in $19.99 and return it tomorrow.
Well, I do listen to you guys, and I try that. They offered to give me the money back, but I was afraid that I couldn't get a new one.
Right.
So I just decided to keep it because I was trying to see if they give me a discount or anything. They didn't give me a discount. It was like a full refund or nothing.
Gotcha.
So I still have the package damage. I kept it in the box, and I don't know, man. I'm just like, this thing looks like I said, it was like an elephant sit on it.
Thank you. Curly, thanks for the call. And listen, it's the story that we had last week. And then just, kind of ironic that I have a damaged, turkey fryer pot.
Yeah.
And then I get these 3 metal carts from Harbor Freight, and they're just destroyed. And I know, right, my guy didn't do it. I'm telling you, right.
Your guy would never do that.
My UPS guy's these got damaged along the way. They shipped out of a big distribution center for Harbor Freight in Dillon, South Carolina. Isn't that where is that where Michael Jordan's father was offed? Was that Dillon or is that Lumberton? I'm trying to. Anyway, so my guy even pointed it out. My UPS guy texted me. It's like, hey, got some boxes for you, and they're pretty beat up. So I know that my guy did not do this to the boxes. That I don't, it come, from South Carolina, whether they transferred to a different truck in Jacksonville, but along the way, man, these things got destroyed. All right, so Andrew, thank the other callers. I got to move on here. All right, so here's the deal. I'm leaving Palm Harbor on Friday afternoon. So I'm in between Palm Harbor and Countryside Mall before you go up on the overpass.
That's
over
where
there.
I grew up, so
right.
I'm very familiar.
Somewhere in the middle, and this is on US 19 southbound,
Mm-hmm.
I see a billboard that reads, and I didn't get the name of it because I was going by, and then traffic was pretty heavy, so I almost wanted to turn around and go back, but I'm like, nah. I'm like, Friday at 4:00, 4:30. I'm not doing that. So, but let me tell you what I did see. I saw a billboard again, US 19 south of Palm Harbor, before Countryside, and the billboard read something to the effect: Florida's first recreational marijuana dispensary.
Huh. So
hang on. I'm like, I think they might have jumped the gun just a little bit here.
They paid for the billboard. They're like, what the heck?
All right.
Still run it.
The proposition's going to pass. Recreational marijuana. The constitutional amendment.
Uh-huh.
The constitutional amendment, you can tell I lived in California for a couple of years. All right, so the constitutional amendment for marijuana, it's gonna pass. That was what, 3, right?
3 sounds correct.
Yeah, that was 3.
It was 3. Yes. Yes.
3 and 4 were the biggies this time around. So they must have been so confident, and in this case,
all my money on green. Yes.
Well,
Weed.
They must have been just a little overly confident. And I mean, hey, folks,
that's optimism.
If I'm right or wrong, if anyone knows anything, if anyone knows the name of the dispensary on US 19, and I think it had an arrow right around the corner, and the billboard's Florida's first recreational dispensary. Nope. And of course, what did it have? 54 or 56% of the vote.
Yeah, needed 60.
You had to have the supermajority of 60% or greater for these constitutional amendments to pass. But, I drove by this thing. I'm like, I think they were really just, they were so sure that recreational marijuana was going to hit the 60% threshold in Florida that, oh, yeah, we're going to put this billboard up. First recreational marijuana dispensary in Florida. And no dice. Nope. Yeah, if anyone knows the name of the dispensary, or if anyone knows if I've got the story, is my assumption right? You know,
Yeah.
I'm assuming, and you know what they say, you know, if you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. However, I can't think of a different explanation other than, you know, they jumped the gun, and, you know, the billboard companies have been so freaking busy with, you know, all of the billboard repair and all the damage that, you know, maybe they just haven't, maybe they haven't gotten the copy down yet. But, all right, we got a call? All right, Rafa. All right, maybe Rafa and Brandon can set me straight on this.
Yeah,
Rafa,
Brandon.
you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hi.
Hey, how you doing? I just heard you talking about the world's first recreational.
No, I think it said Florida's first recreational dispensary.
Yeah, Florida's first. I see those signs everywhere, and that's just something that all the smoke shops do here. Because as long as whatever is on their shelves is less than 0.3% of Delta 9 THC, which
Right.
is the psychoactive, then they're allowed to sell it on their shelves legally, and they just list it as medical marijuana, but it's really hemp.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't a dispensary that was
Right,
gearing
because,
up
I mean,
for.
that's the same stuff you find at gas stations.
Yeah.
Any smoke shop you go into, they just try to put those signs up to get people to go in there.
Well, and they think that people are stupid and they don't know that it's not like real marijuana.
100%.
All right. Well, sounds like a good explanation to me. I knew that there was potentially a different explanation. Thank you. So you've seen the one that says Florida's first recreational dispensary?
Oh yeah, I drive all over St. Pete, and I see signs that say that on all different kinds of smoke shops, recreational marijuana,
Gotcha.
world's first storefront, all that.
All right. Thank you, bud. I appreciate you phoning in.
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, listen, my assumption was if Rafa's right, I have no reason to doubt it. If he's right, then you know, my assumption was incorrect. But I wanted to believe that.
Yeah, I know. That would have been funny. I mean, or
guess-
not for some.
There is a new term that I just became aware of. And I tell you what, there's just so much in the world of millennials. It seems like we're all Gen X. Fester's Gen X. I'm Gen X. You're Gen X. Andrew is Gen X. We're all Gen Xers in here. And, of course, the generation after us are millennials. And then after millennials, you've got the Gen Z. And then after that, you got Alpha. So, you know, my daughter, Chloe, is Gen Z. But we've just so much stuff. It seems that, like, our generation's kind of stagnant or just kind of static. Yeah, that's a better term. But there's just
Static in what?
No, just in like our life, our lifestyle. It's not. And I'm going to make it make sense here in a minute. It's not like all of like the shifting trends that we see with millennials and Generation Z. And for instance, this is about Generation Z, which would be born like 1997 to 2012. That's like Generation Z. So Chloe was born in 2001. My daughter's 23 years old now, right in the middle of Gen Z. So this new term that apparently is a big Generation Z deal, it's a dating trend, which is described as toxic, and it's called sledging.
Ooh, this is a new word for me.
Yeah, that's why, this piqued my interest. I'm like, sledging? It's not sledding. It's not like, you're getting on a sled and going down a snowbank somewhere. No. Sledging. 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 So what the heck is sledging? It's a new dating trend as it's described. And what it is when 20-somethings remain in a busted, bankrupt, dead-end relationship, and they're just dragging somebody along as if they were a sled. But it's not called sledding, it's called sledging, and it particularly happens this time of the year, that they drag the other individual that they're in the relationship with, they drag them along, especially around the holidays. They drag them through the holidays and they try to pretend like they're happy, but then the plan is to kick their ass out New Year's Day.
So they don't want to hear from family members, oh, John, why are you still single? Now he's sledging his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Or maybe she's sledging him. Maybe Cindy, I always say Cindy. Maybe Cindy is like, got to bring John to the Thanksgiving because I just don't want Uncle Jim to ask me why I'm still single.
There were 600 daters that were surveyed, age ranging from 18 to 25, and they found that over 15% of the Generation Z regularly did this. They strung along a relationship, and then they were planning. So this is through the holidays, Thanksgiving, Christmas time, and then the plan is to dump their butts right around New Year's.
Okay, well, I just found a term that was out last year, and this is the opposite of sledging. What do you think it could be? What would the opposite of sledging be?
Opposite of sledging?
So if you're keeping them through the holidays.
Oh, that's you dump them during the holidays.
You dump them before the holidays so you don't have to buy them a gift. And it's called Scrooging.
We talked about that previously.
Probably.
We talked about that a while ago. Yeah.
Maybe a year ago.
Yeah, it's been a while ago. All right. But then something that you might have just said this is that the part of the ideology behind sledging is that when you're at family get-togethers that you don't have relatives saying, so why are you still single?
Yeah.
To bring them along so you're not single and you're not, causing them to ask all kinds of questions.
Well, now they're going to say, why are you with this bum? Why are you with this?
Well, if the individual, whether it's a male or a female, exhibits any, personality quirks or is just like a, wet, bag of leaves.
Now you're going to get, doesn't really seem like you guys have much chemistry.
Yeah. I don't know. Any sledgers out there? I mean, do you think we have any listeners that will phone up?
And admit it.
Well, it's Generation Z mostly, but I got to believe this extends to millennials. Anybody listening right now that you're a sledger, you're like Sister Sledge. What was that? Was that We Are Family? No, we're not going to be family. I'm dumping your ass right after the Christmas holidays are done. Yeah, so
sledgehammering you after the holidays.
If you're a sledger and you're dragging your significant other, whether it's a boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, if you're just going to drag them through the holidays to the family get-togethers, and then you're going to dump them come January 1st, I would love to hear from you. 800-990-1047. I have no idea what's going to happen, whether phones are going to light up on this one. I see Andrew is screening a call right now, so we'll see. Phones are ringing. 800-990-1047. Are you a sledger? Or have you, we can go backward on this, have you ever sledged? Have you sledged previously where you kept somebody through the holidays knowing that you are just absolutely going to jettison them and dump them after the holidays? And why? All right, 800-990-1047. Grab a couple of calls here. Yeah, we got one screened. Andy in Largo. And if you want to join Andy afterward, 800-990-1047. Or maybe you've been sledged. If you've been sledged, if you plan to sledge, I'd love to hear from you. 800-990-1047. Andy, Largo, you're on the MJ Morning Show. Hello.
Yeah, I'm in my 50s, and I don't think it's just Gen Z or whatever. I've been the sledger, and I've been the sledgy. I mean, it just happens.
When is the last time, either on whatever side of the coin you were on, when's the last time sledging occurred in your life?
Probably last year, I would say.
Did you do the sledging, or were you sledged?
I was doing the sledging. I was sticking with her to try to get her through the holidays and make it better for her when I did break up. But
so you were like sledging, like a compassionate sledger.
Yeah, exactly.
You didn't do it as much, like you didn't care what relative thought you were single or not single.
It's like dating hospice.
Yeah.
Or something.
On life support.
I'm sorry,
usually.
it's kind of a
Yeah.
sick thing, but all right. So,
Yeah,
Can
it's
I,
just like
Andy? Can I ask why you sledged? I would imagine it was a woman, correct?
Yeah.
All right. So, what was it? Why did you sledge her? Why were you dragging her through, and then with plans to dump?
Well, I guess I was more trying to be compassionate to them, and putting my feelings aside because I pretty much knew it was over. And I just didn't want to break up with them during the holidays.
What was wrong though? What went south?
Well, arguing all the time. In fact, we argued so much that I wanted the complete opposite, so I started dating a mime after that. And
Hold on, hold on. You started dating? Come on, that's hysterical. You started dating a mime?
Yeah, and it went great for about 2 or 3 weeks, and then I did something and it pissed her off, and she started talking.
Yeah, okay. Now he's being a comedian.
Okay.
All right. Were they doing I was going to ask, was the mime doing did they have like a white painted face?
Uh-huh.
And were they doing like
stuck in a box?
The hand stuck in the box move?
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. Thank you, Andy.
All right, bye.
The official theme of sledging? There you go. Yeah, if you've been... while we're on dating, let's just stick with this for a second.
Okay.
There is another interesting dating trend that I was reading about. And women in particular are fed up with this. And I would imagine this runs both ways, but the way that I read it, it was women are sick and tired of this happening to them. And it's about boring dates.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. So a lot of people are meeting online these days. A lot of people are meeting through the dating apps, which, although I think it's slowed down a little in the last year or so, I think we've had some stories to that effect. But still, plenty of people are on all the plethora of dating apps. So what happens, and what has a lot of women ticked off, is that the guys they're meeting online just will not stop yapping. So when they're talking, maybe on the phone, if they're online, they're chatting, they're just... The
guys?
Yeah, the guys. So the guys are very talkative. They're very outgoing. The problem arises when they meet the guy or they start dating, that the guy clams up and has nothing to say. So in the initial contact phase, the guys are very, very talkative. But then when you start meeting in person, it's like pulling teeth to try to get a conversation going or having, some type of interaction that's even remotely meaningful.
Okay, MJ, I need more. I need to see this story because I feel like a lot of guys and even girls, when they're saying talking, do they mean talking on the phone, like conversations, or do they mean he was very chatty over text?
No, I just addressed that. I just said that. I said both. I said 2 minutes ago, I said that the women are saying that the guys are very talkative in texting. And
texting, yes.
So either online chat or texting, and then on the phone, the guys are totally verbal and completely chatty-patty, but then they meet in person, and then it's like pulling teeth to try to get anything out of them when you're actually out on a date.
See, I've heard of girls experiencing that, but not having that phone component. Like, yeah, I'm dating this guy, and, he's so, like, quick-witted and hits me back whenever I text him, and, boom, boom, boom. But then we don't talk on the phone, or when we do, he doesn't have much to say. And then when we meet in person, he has nothing to say. Yeah.
All right. I don't know. I got a bunch of relationship issues here. Then well, this is not really a relationship, but I was reading that bachelorette parties for many women are going by the wayside.
And in exchange for what? Like more of like a chill time or something?
Yeah, well, essentially. Yeah. So there is a movement where a lot of soon-to-be brides are getting rid of the traditional bachelorette party, and they're going on a pre-marriage trip solo, all by themselves.
Oh, by themselves?
Yes. So apparently this is kind of a trend. that bachelorette parties for many are fizzling, fading, and these women that are about to get married, they're just going off on a solo trip all by themselves.
Wow.
So that also appears to be a little bit of a trend. All right.
Last bachelorette party I was on was 2016.
What?
Yeah,
2016.
Yeah,
8 years ago.
I haven't had any friends say, "Hey, let's go." No.
Well, hold on.
So
you got married a year ago. When did you get married? 2 years?
It'll be 2 years in April. But I didn't have a bachelorette party.
Why not?
Because I did the first time around. My first wedding, I had a bachelorette party, so I didn't really feel the need to. But I did go on a bachelorette party in 2016. And what was surprising to me, there were some girls on the trip who were single, and we go to these.
Oh, so this was a destination bachelorette party?
Yeah, it was a bachelorette party. Yeah, a destination, yes.
Where was it?
It was in Miami. And so we go to some nightclubs like on South Beach, and I hadn't been like in the nightclubs in a long time. And I was shocked so there were these single girls on this bachelorette party, but nobody was talking to one another. Like no one was mingling with the other single guys. I don't mean the one who was getting married. I mean the other single girls, because everybody's just on their phone and in little clumps. Like nightclubs have a different vibe now in terms of, are you going to go there and meet someone? There's not as much mingling because people are staring at their phones the whole time. So I thought maybe you were going to say that bachelorette trend was to just do something chill with the bridesmaids, but this is just a solo deal.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, a lot of people are just zoned out on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
So interaction, I would imagine that's a problem on dates.
Yeah.
You go out with somebody and both are on their damn phones for half the date, right? And then one other item that's kind of bachelorette related, but this is the progression to the actual wedding. I was reading about a bride and groom that were worried about their guests getting too drunk at the wedding, and they wanted to do away with the open bar at a wedding, which is typically the case, and they were wondering if it was too tacky to have a cash bar at the wedding. In order to, if it's an open bar and you're not paying for the booze,
you're not giving it any thought.
Isn't the propensity to just, guzzle it up? But if you have to start shelling out your own money at a cash bar at a wedding, then you might temper yourself and back off and not load yourself up as much. So is that, yes or no? Is that tacky? A woman and her groom-to-be or husband-to-be, that instead of having an open bar, they want to do a cash bar to make sure that their guests don't get too liquored up, too plastered at the event.
Well, don't we just go to weddings just to drink as much as possible? No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe you're looking forward to weddings to drown your sorrows, right?
Just to drown our sorrows, yeah. So the biggest con, it goes against the core belief of hospitality. Like, come celebrate our union and have drinks with us. But I'm making that joke because I know people do take advantage and do go overboard.
Raise your glass. Yeah. Why don't you listen to this? Listen to this music, and we'll discuss in just a moment.
Say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets ring clear, the bursting.
Can you take any more of this?
No.
You want me to shut it off?
Yeah, we're good.
You just shut it off?
I'm good. Shut it off.
That our flag was still.
All right. Shutting it off. Do you know who that is?
I don't.
You have no idea who that is?
No. Andrew, any guesses?
Well, Andrew knows.
Oh,
All right, let me give you a hint here.
Boyz II Men.
Yes, it is.
I thought that for a second, but I feel like they have great voices, and I wasn't like, I wasn't crazy about that rendition.
Guess what? You and everyone else at the Las Vegas Grand Prix over the weekend, they are getting railed.
See, I love Boyz II Men.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, well, it sounds Boyz II Men-ish, but I love them, so
No.
it can't be them.
It is them, and I don't know whether they've lost their touch or, I mean, how many times were they just clearly off key?
Yeah, it sounded like a Boyz II Men kind of like knockoff performance.
Yeah, it's busted Boyz II Men. But, the rendition was just ridiculed by just thousands and thousands. Off pitch, gimmicky, was flat. Yeah, that was Boyz II Men out in Vegas over the weekend, and people were throwing up in their mouths, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah, but they got skewered for that rendition. And you know who Meghan Trainor is, right?
Yeah.
You know, Meghan Trainor's...
I'm trying to think what songs pop into my head that she sings. I'm going to have to Google them. My kids like
Come
them.
on, the biggest Meghan Trainor song.
Is it all about...
That's what Meghan Trainor's getting.
What?
Getting a big old boob job.
Oh, good for her.
Yeah, and I guess Meghan Trainor says that she's getting a boob job after breastfeeding her 1-year-old son, Barry.
That's a funny name for
Well,
it.
exactly. Like Barry's a 58-year-old guy, and you got a 1-year-old son who's naming a kid Barry.
I guess, she is a performer. Maybe she likes Barry Manilow.
This is my 9-month-old. Here's my 9-month-old infant, Sid. Maury. Here's my newborn Merv. Who's naming a kid Barry these days?
And she's got to really do some explanation. She's like, "Well, I have to get a boob job. Barry, look what Barry's done to my boobs."
I'd like
Barry? Who's
I'd like to introduce you to my 2-year-old. Morty.
Mortimer.
Here's my 2-year-old Morty. You just think of like an old guy with those gigantic scuba glasses, you know?
That's a throwback.
Oh my God. Meghan Trainor is getting a boob. Two things here, because, clearly there's a parody to be made here. So, but two things, that her 1-year-old son is named Barry. That was number one, and then she's getting a boob job. So she ought to do a new version, right, of something like all about the boobs, It's gonna double, right? All about the boobs, gonna double. Oh yeah. Oh, I think that. Oh yeah. We ought to. Hey, let's fire this thing up. About the boobs, let's double. Yeah, gonna double them up. Yes, Rox.
I found out why she named him Barry. So
don't make me sad that her father passed away and what?
No. So Trainor said she had inspiration for her son's name from the iconic Pixar film Finding Nemo, because Bruce the shark is voiced by the late Australian icon Barry Humphries.
What the hell? That is the furthest reach and stretch I've ever heard. I was like, there was no character in Finding. What was it in?
Finding Nemo.
Yeah, Finding Nemo. There was no character Barry the fish.
No, so I know exactly.
A guy that voiced a character was named Barry. Yes. So she names her kid Barry after the voice artist. Get out of here.
To be specific, her Barry voiced Bruce the shark, so the baby's name is Barry Bruce.
That's all cockeyed.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't make any sense to me. Well, all right, we will give away that garage door opener from Banco in the 9 o'clock hour. So after 9 o'clock, I will announce the winner. And thank you. Hundreds and hundreds of entries for the garage door opener from Banco, from LiftMaster and Banco. This is almost $1,000 prize because it's the top of the line LiftMaster, and it'll be installed by Banco Overhead Doors, great sponsor here on the MJ Morning Show. So listen, always keeping you on your toes. If we're not giving away piles of cash, we're giving away, Microsoft Surface computers or Microsoft tablets, rice cookers, and in this case, a state-of-the-art, top-of-the-line garage door opener. Going to give this away. And again, all last week we took entries. We took email entries. Best story wins, whether it's a real story or a fake story. So after 9 o'clock, we'll announce the winner of the contest. I want to address a direct message I got. And folks, I love hearing from you. I get great material from listeners just like you. If you want to, even just say hello, you can drop me an email. My private email, I'm the only one that goes through it, is mj@mjmorningshow.com. So I'm just trying to ensure that your privacy will be maintained. If you have a hot tip, you have some gossip, if you want to remain anonymous, we get great tips. If you know something that we need to know, let me know. Drop an email. Or if you want to add to content, if you have a comment, a question, my email is mj@mjmorningshow.com. Same goes for my direct messages on Instagram. My DMs are wide open. Certified MJ Radio. If you want to hit me up on Instagram, my DMs are open. This came from Instagram. This was a DM. And listener asked me, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to respond and read my messages. Means a lot. Can you start the prank calls again? And he had inquired, this listener had inquired about like the Milton Fludge Cow, the crotchety old man prank calls. And I had to explain to him, and this is what I wrote back. I said, the problem with the prank calls is the FCC really cracked down on recording people without consent. And, when I go back and you listen to these crotchety old man calls, and, the couple of hundred calls I did, I easily would have racked up about $8 million in fines.
Oh, my gosh.
But the statute of limitations has run out.
Well, that's good.
The issue is that I had to explain, that the FCC's cracked down on recording people without consent, and that's where lies what goes on in radio. Like with a lot of these, War of the Roses type stuff, all that stuff is fake.
Yeah.
It's all faked. And you've got companies that provide these phone actors to play the parts for these phone-in segments. So I'm not going phony. I mean, my crotchety old man calls were tedious and laborious to record in many, many instances. That I would have a concept, and sometimes I think the most I ever had to make was like 15 or 16 phone calls to try to lay out the premise to get people to bite. And I never, listen, folks, I'm peeling back the curtain. I'm letting you in here. So I cut and pasted this thing, and I don't have his name, but it's a listener that hit me up on direct message on Instagram. And, I'm peeling back the curtain here. He's asking, he heard me play some, a classic crotchety old man call. And, he's like, hey, can you start doing those again? The problem is I don't want to do them again because I don't want to fake them. The only way to do the crotchety old man calls again, because of the crackdown and the company policies. When I was doing those calls in the mid 90s through like the mid 2000s, when I was doing those calls, it was just things got really hairy after the Janet Jackson issue. And that was what? Was that 2003 or 2004? Where, Janet Jackson with the nipple exposure during the Super Bowl halftime show. It put everyone under the microscope. And it wasn't just like a language. And we were walking on eggshells. Everyone was afraid of saying the wrong thing on the air and getting fired. It was a miserable time to be a radio broadcaster. Well, we had a year or two where everybody was afraid. And like, are you going to say something? Because what happened was after the Janet Jackson incident, television and even more so radio,
under the microscope.
Totally. And all of our company, whether it was, you name the radio company, everybody was under the microscope. And everyone was afraid that the next thing you say might be misinterpreted, or if, you say something wrong and you're going to be fired. I'm telling you, it was a rough time. We were all walking on eggshells. There were like sessions where you had to have corporate training on, Janet Jackson really effed things up.
Well, was it her or was it Justin or both of them?
Well, I think it was, they were in cahoots. I think it was, obviously, that was designed to rip away and expose her nipple, on national television during the halftime show. But that prompted just a major crackdown, and it was just a rough time to do a morning show. And you're always wondering, is this my last one? Because companies were overreacting. After Janet Jackson, the number of morning shows or people on morning shows that got nailed, got fired, got canned because of content, it skyrocketed. So that also put the microscope on the prank and the crank phone calls. And that's essentially the time that I stopped doing the crotchety old man calls, because I wasn't going to fake them. And that is also the need for consent. That also, started this whole little cottage industry of radio prep services that provide you with the fake phone callers. Mm-hmm. And I wouldn't do that. I don't want to. I'm not. That's no fun. I don't want a fake phone. I want to do a phone crank call that's real. And I've told this in the past that whenever I traveled, and this is back more in the 90s before the internet was prevalent for us. Whenever I traveled at a hotel, I would steal the yellow pages. So I would steal. I had just piles.
You thief.
I had piles of out of town yellow pages that when I came up with a premise, I would have a bunch of businesses that I could call and crank. Whether it was you name it.
And then you could also take the yellow pages and you could sit on them if you went places and wanted to be at a little lift.
So thank you. Yeah, in the rental car, I need to sit higher. I'm going to take the yellow. I'm going to sit on the yellow pages. Yeah, thank you, Roxanne.
Like a booster seat.
Yeah, thank you. So that's the answer. That's why I don't do the crank crotchety old man calls, because I'm not going to do fake calls. And then also, and I don't know which radio companies require this, but I've heard disclaimers that even say that. They'll try to hide a disclaimer saying that the call is dramatized, or it's that the phone actors. I mean, some show, even with War of the Roses.
The preceding phone call has been about
exactly. Even with those type of segments, or the dating shticks, or there are a whole bunch of different. But those are actors, and I know that I've heard radio stations comment on that in the past. So I'm not doing crank calls anymore, because I'm not going to fake them. They have to be real. And if I did real ones, then we'd get sued and fined, and just people are just a whole lot more sensitive these days than they used to be.
So no more crank calls, because we're not going to pretend.
Well, it's not like it's a sudden thing. I haven't done them. I haven't done them.
But that's the answer. That's the answer.
I haven't done the crank calls in 20 years. And the Janet Jackson thing was the real turning point on that. And it was a terrible time. All right, moving along. Black Friday coming up at the end of the week. Friday, day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And just a heads up, just a warning on a couple of fronts. There is research out that close to half of the items at retail have no savings for Black Friday. All right? So 41% of retail items sold on Black Friday have absolutely no price reduction. So the point is if you know the price of something and you know it's on sale, or it's a doorbuster or whatever the heck they want to call it, if you have intel and you know what the actual price is, and if it is heavily discounted and you want to make a move on it, that's fine. But just know that just going out on Black Friday and, dealing with all the traffic and all the crowds and the parking spots and all that or lack of, just know that 41% of items offered for Black Friday have no discount, no savings. And in fact, I've got a story that gets even worse than that. Yes, Andrew.
So is this a case of, since it's become a tradition to go out shopping on Black Friday, the stores know they've got you where they want you?
Oh, I think that's a fairly good analysis.
I think they're, some of the stores, not all of them, some of them really are offering good deals or some products are on good deal, but I think they just want to whip you into a frenzy. You got to, this is the time, it's a deadline thing, Black Friday, got to get it done today.
Also, Thanksgiving is late this year.
Yeah, exactly.
So the number of weekends for shopping before Christmas, I think we're down like a weekend than, when typically sometimes we have Thanksgiving a little bit earlier.
I remember feeling like when I looked at the calendar, feeling like, oh, shoot, when Thanksgiving's over.
Because Thanksgiving is always the 8th Thursday of November, right?
The 8th Thursday, yes.
The 8th.
Yes.
the 8th Thursday of, and then, and this is another heads up. But before I move on from that. So 41% of items are not on sale. It's the same freaking price. But we've also had stories in the past where on Black Friday, some things are even more expensive than they were prior to the so-called sale. And I think, what you guys just said was that people are just whipped up into the mindset, got to buy. And you think that you're getting a good deal when you're not getting a good deal. And, here's an example. So here's another offshoot. This guy, listen to this, is insane. This guy buys a pair of Sony headphones for $298. And then he sees the Amazon Black Friday deal coming up. Guess how much the Black Friday deal was? So he bought these Sony headphones for $298, and then Amazon Black Friday deal is how much? Any idea?
It was $290, you said?
So this guy buys Sony headphones for $298, and then he sees the Amazon Black Friday deal.
Okay.
Want to guess?
Here's the thing. I don't know if this is like a funny guess and we're supposed to go higher or lower.
Just make a guess.
Just make a guess. Okay, maybe the Amazon deal was $270.
No. You chose the wrong door. You chose the wrong way.
I should have gone up.
Yeah. $348. It's like $50 more. Look at the phones. The phones are lighting up on this. If you want to add to this, hey, fire up the phones. Let's go. 800-990-1047. You have anything to add to this conversation? 800-990-1047. That's how you get in. 800-990-1047. Yeah, this guy's like Black Friday deal my butt. So Walden, the guy's name is Walden Wang, and he said Amazon is such a bleeping scam. I bought these headphones a couple of days ago, and recently Amazon announced something like a Black Friday deal. And he shows the current deal, which has marked down the item by 13%. However, ordered the headphones, exactly the same headphones a couple of days ago, was $298. And then, so they have it marked down. At the $348, they claim it's marked down 13%. What the heck? See, you got to be careful of this stuff. Don't get hoodwinked. Don't get psychologically browbeaten and sucked into the event horizon here where you can't get out. Know what you're buying. Know what the prices are. Because
just do your research.
They will racketeer you, man. They'll
make it seem like it's Black Friday special. No, it's how much was that? $60 more?
$50 more. Yeah, he $298. He bought the headphones and then the Black Friday deal. Oh, it was a 13% savings, but it was $348, $50 more than he paid with no freaking sale.
Yeah, they just arbitrarily make up a 13% savings.
Listen, if you have any observation you want to add to this, I'll grab a call or two. 800-990-1047. 800-990-1047. Wendy, hi. Welcome to the MJ Morning Show.
Hi, MJ. It's been a while.
Well, welcome back.
Yep, I'm in Oklahoma now. I'm actually an hour behind you guys. But
Oh, wow.
I just wanted to say, I never do Black Friday. It is not worth the headache. It is not worth the mob scene. I either do Cyber Monday or shop small business Saturdays.
Yeah, listen, that's always a good thing to shop. So, of course, Black Friday is Friday. And, typically that's like the big box stores that people flock to. But on Saturday, always remember that Saturday after Black Friday is Small Business Saturday. And this is where, they encourage people to shop at, smaller, locally owned mom and pop stores and spread some of that wealth around. Hey, I would suggest, why wait until Saturday? Buy as much as you can from local brick and mortar stores as you possibly can.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I mentioned the what they call Small Business Saturday is because you can actually get a true discount at your mom and pop store on Saturdays after Black Friday.
What took you to Oklahoma? Why'd you leave the Tampa Bay area?
I ended up moving up to Virginia to help my daughter. And then I ended up coming to Oklahoma to help out a friend.
And you're staying in Oklahoma?
Yep. For now, I'm staying in Oklahoma for at least the next foreseeable couple years.
All right. Where in Oklahoma are you, Wendy?
I'm in a little town called Ponca. I'm up near the Kansas border.
Oh, wow. That sounds like there are 19 residents there. Ponca?
Yeah, it's an Indian name.
Okay.
But, we've already had our tornadoes, and we have a couple more, actually, that are supposed to come in.
Oh.
Our tornadoes are like your hurricanes.
Yep. All right, Wendy, thank you, and appreciate listening on the app. Thank you so much. All right. I guess I can move on here.
Yeah. Yeah, but it's just be wary. Just do your research.
Don't get suckered. Yeah. Don't get suckered is what I'm saying. Do you know what the hottest ticket in L.A. today is?
What would that? Is it like an entertainment?
That's all I'm saying.
Sports event.
Do you know the hottest ticket in Los Angeles today? It's specifically today.
Today, the
hottest
25th.
ticket. Yeah, exactly. This is.
Are the Lakers playing today?
Monday, November 25th. The hottest ticket in Los Angeles.
Well, they're partying, doing something on a Monday night. I don't know what it is. My guess is a sports thing, but I don't know what that could be.
It is not a sports thing. Let me give you a hint. It's a pretty morbid, sick, twisted hint.
Okay. Is it a, let's see, gun class?
Nope.
I don't think they're allowed to do concealed weapons out there, right?
I don't believe, there's no concealed weapons permit out. Well, but constitutionally, there have been some rulings. I don't know what the latest is on concealed carry out there. No. The hottest ticket, let me just cut to the chase.
Oh, I think I know what it is.
All right,
I got it.
What is it?
It's the movie. It's Alec Baldwin's movie.
No.
No?
Nope.
And you said morbid clue.
Yeah.
That would be very morbid.
It's still a morbid clue. No. It's people trying to score seats inside the Menendez brothers hearing later today in Los Angeles Superior Court.
So how do you score a seat in there?
Well, I'm glad you asked. They're doing a raffle. They're doing a lottery because so many people want to get into the courtroom because those murderous jacktards, Lyle and Eric Menendez, are appearing. And listen, their whole parole deal, that appears to be in jeopardy because the new incoming district attorney, he's like, whoa, not so fast. Because he clobbered that Gascon guy who he was the subject of a couple of recall attempts because he's such a loony, seemingly siding with criminals more than victims. But no, the hottest ticket in town right now are the Menendez brothers. And of course, their popularity has been totally increased and exacerbated by the Netflix series about the Menendez brothers and the killing of their parents. So they're in court today, Los Angeles County Superior Court, and there's going to be a public lottery to determine who will get the 16 seats set aside for the general public. So they're going to, out front, before court opens, they're going to have a lottery to see who gets the 16 public seats. With the latest Eric and Lyle Menendez hearing.
Now, what about, okay, you know how when you go to a baseball game and the player has like the family seats, like, okay, they have their own personal tickets they can give to family and friends. Do the Menendez brothers have their own personal tickets they can give to, like, the wife outside of,
Oh, sure. They certainly can have seats. I don't know how many they get, but they'll have
It's
seats
like that.
for the friends and family
The
package.
friends and family seats.
Yeah, it's a friends and family package. Yeah, so there's going to be a drawing this morning just before the hearing. The judge possibly could decide that the brothers are eligible for parole. They've been incarcerated now for 30 years because, they murdered their parents in Beverly Hills in their mansion back in 1989. These guys should never see the light of day. I'm sorry. I don't believe some of the new evidence that's popped up and, what the Netflix series or what the claims are. No, they brutally blasted their mother and father away with a shotgun. They should never see the light of day. And they've been serving a life sentence. The new incoming DA, district attorney in Los Angeles County, he's like, no, not so fast. I'm not, we need to slow things down here. And he's not like falling in step with the old outgoing DA that was all softy and recommending the release of the Menendez brothers. They should never get out. And 16 seats for the general public. It's going to be like a freaking lottery. I don't know if they're going to have the machine with the ping pong balls.
Yeah. They're just going to draw 16 lucky people.
Pick six. That's what they did. They picked six. Because they bought the shotgun at Big Six Sporting Goods.
They did.
That's where they bought the freaking shotgun. 8:54 at the MJ Morning Show. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings to a close over an hour and 20 minutes of nonstop MJ. 9 o'clock hour starts next. We'll give away the garage door opener to the best story. The Banco LiftMaster installed top-of-the-line garage door. We'll announce the winner coming up in the 9 o'clock hour in just a matter of moments, so stand by. Veterans... The MJ Morning Show, 9:03 Monday morning here on Thanksgiving week. We are live today. We're live tomorrow. Wednesday, maybe not so much. Thursday, we decided to all come in and do Thursday morning. No, I'm kidding. And then Black Friday, well, it's Black Friday. And I'm sure it's going to be 16 songs in a row. That's what I'm guessing. All right, 9:03 MJ Morning Show here on Q105. It's 104.7 FM. You have a Bitcoin millionaire who has allegedly hid $2 million around the United States and has left clues on how to find the money. Everybody loves a treasure hunt. Everybody loves a scavenger hunt.
Mm-hmm. Who's this? Why did this guy decide to do this? Just for clicks?
Well, he claims to have a lot of money. This dude claims he's hid more than $2 million in treasure. This is an entrepreneur. He's made a lot of money with Bitcoin. Did you see where Bitcoin is?
It's up.
It's up. Duh. Bitcoin is like knocking on $100,000.
Yeah.
Bitcoin, where is it? Andrew, turn your microphone on. Was it like 98 right now? Where is it?
97,554. 97,600 now.
Okay, 97. It's going up as we speak. No, but it's down because it was knocking on $100,000 a coin. And remember, it dipped down to like 20 or 12,000 not too long ago. I'm still, I'm not into Bitcoin. Oh yeah, I missed the boat. We're destitute. So
Shoulda, woulda.
Well, I still wouldn't have done it. It's just, to me.
Too risky.
Yeah, too risky.
Too much of a flyer.
Oh, and God, there was a story I read. There was a story that I read like, hang on. Hey, Andrew, remind me of my ancillary Bitcoin story because it is crazy. And it reminded me. And it's like a couple of years old already, but it's a hell of a story. So we've got this Bitcoin millionaire. The guy made a fortune, apparently. His name is John Collins Black. And he put together like this treasure trove of valuable items. So he's hid 5 chests full of valuables across the United States. And then he's left these breadcrumbs, these clues on where to find the hidden chests. So if you want to play this guy's game, you could find yourself winning, a ton with these 5 hidden treasure chests. So you got shipwrecked, salvaged gold coins. There are some rare Pokemon cards. I mean, all this stuff can be sold for cash. And he put these items in these chests in secret spots all across the United States. So he has a book of clues. There's treasure inside, which is filled with puzzles and maps, and all the clues needed to discover the locations of the treasure chests.
I kind of like this.
Is what he writes.
I mean, it sounds a little nerdy, but I'm down with this. I mean, how do I get some of these? How do I participate?
Yeah, there are gold coins and ingots, and I'm looking at a picture of one of the. It's like a metal, like golden treasure box, like a treasure chest, and he's got the things just packed. I mean, if I were to guess, I guess each. I don't know if I didn't see a number as to how much he claims is in each chest. But
it's 5 different chests.
Well, I know, but
2 million.
But 2 million. But I don't know if they're all the same. So if you, but also keep in mind that a lot of these are collectible items. So what's the value? What the value is now? It could be more when it's found.
True.
Or depending on or it could be less as well. But if you take the 2 million, you divide it by 5. Oh no.
What?
Oh, I just got a text from Sardo, our pizza dude.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, hang on. I'll share that in a second.
Okay.
Oh, he hurt himself.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, no. So you take 2 million divided by, what I say, 5 chests?
Yeah.
So it's $400,000 a chest. And I'm looking at one of the pictures, and I was going to, before I, did the math, I was going to say it's hundreds of thousands of dollars in these treasure chests. And you got to believe it's got to be one in Florida, right? How do you not hide?
It's a fun place to hide
Yeah,
stuff.
probably under the Fountain of Youth.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or at a beach somewhere. Bury it in the sand. Hey, maybe Froggy will come across it with his metal detector.
Oh, yeah. Some of the items include a diamond and sapphire brooch owned by Jacqueline Onassis, a 4th century BCE gold Greek laurel, a coin designed and minted by Pablo Picasso, rare specimen of a lunar rock. Among the treasures, also a single Bitcoin. And, of course, we know that Bitcoin is knocking on $100,000 all by itself for one Bitcoin these days. None of the chests are located in a dangerous location.
Okay, that's good. Like not on top of a volcano.
And are somewhere in the open, not buried.
Wow.
Each is also within 3 miles of a public road, with none located on private property.
Okay, did you say something already, or did I just imagine this, that there's a key to get into the safe that you have to find that too? Or is it once you find the safe, you're good?
Well, it's a treasure chest. It's a box. I know nothing about a key.
Well, I'm looking at a treasure chest and I see the little key that you have to get into it.
Well,
I don't
maybe
know, this is just
no.
artwork.
Yeah, maybe it's just artwork because I don't see it. He's got to find the chest, and what do you need? Just bust the damn thing open.
Yeah.
You know, take it to a
I
locksmith.
don't know if that's part of the fun.
Grab a freaking screwdriver. Just pry the thing open. So nothing dangerous within 3 miles of a public road.
You don't have to be a genius to solve the clues.
None on private property. So 3 miles within 3 miles of a public road, and none on private property.
You know this guy's into geocaching.
I thought, is that still going on?
I don't know, but it just sounds like that category of stuff.
He said, I created this treasure hunt because I live for adventure. Yeah, he devised this whole idea during the COVID-19 lockdown. So what is this, like 4 or 5 years in the making?
Yeah.
He says, I hope to ignite that same sense of wonder and curiosity in everyone who joins the journey.
Well, where's his book of clues?
Do you remember the guy back like 15 years ago that hid like jewelry worth millions?
Sounds familiar.
And, yeah, this was out west, and like people died looking for this thing.
Oh, the guy in the Rocky Mountains?
Yeah,
who did it?
Yes, it was like
Forrest Fenn.
Yeah, that's right. The guy's name was Forrest Fenn, and he had a chest of gold and other precious like jewels and items, and he hid them somewhere in the Rocky Mountains.
Right.
And then he put out a poem that allegedly had all these clues, and then no one found it for 10 freaking years. From like 2010 until 2020, nobody found the hidden treasure chest from this Forrest Fenn for 10 years. And then it was in 2020. It was like like in the middle of COVID. He announced that it had been found. Never revealed the name of who found it. And then also, he died shortly after. So people are wondering whether the treasure was ever found or whether there really was a treasure.
And he was putting people in life or death situations
Yeah.
to try to find it.
So if you want to check this out, go to this guy's Instagram, and it's at John Jon Collins Black.
And his book is $36, $37. Well, maybe it's cheaper other places. On eBay it's $6.60, but it's called There's Treasure Inside. So you get his book, There's Treasure Inside, and that's where you find the clues.
So is it just a racket to sell books?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm wondering.
So if you want to see more on this, he's got a website, treasureinside.com. So I don't know, maybe he's just trying to sell these damn books is what
I just
it sounds
found a
like.
whole big Reddit thread about Treasure Inside.
All right, but also, remember, his Instagram is John, Jon Collins Black. JONCOLLINS BLACK. What'd you find?
I found a big, Reddit thread on his book,
right?
Treasure Inside. So
What does it
people
say?
are discussing. I mean, I've got to dig into it. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me because I haven't read the book yet. But they're talking about different strategies and what different clues might mean.
Is there anything you can share? Anything of substance?
Someone says that this chapter 9, specifically talks about not forcing clues to fit a location that you want the treasure to be in, and to always keep an open mind. So,
all right, sounds good. I had, and folks, will announce the garage door opener contest from Banco. And LiftMaster will have that coming up in just a bit. Andrew, why are you jumping up and down like a little excited girl?
I was saying, I hope it's me.
Okay. I had like a dozen people hit me up. Hey, MJ, did you see the Cacio e Pepe story on CBS yesterday morning? I did not.
That's funny.
However, somebody sent me the YouTube link that the network put up. So it turns out that it's CBS Sunday Morning.
Mm-hmm.
Runs on Sunday mornings on CBS.
So they offer their fancy recipe.
Well, Jane Pauley hosts CBS Sunday Morning, and they had a story about the Italian masterpiece called Cacio e Pepe, which Cacio is kind of colloquial for cheese, You got formaggio, but Cacio also
like a nickname for cheese.
It means cheese as well. So Cacio, E is and Pepe, Pepe is pepper. So it's cheese and pepper, and it's this very simple Roman dish that I love, Michelle loves, and it is so easily screwed up. I can't tell you. Well, I can tell you, but maybe I won't. The restaurants that have had Cacio e Pepe on the menu, and it just sucks.
Yeah, it's weird. It's one of those dishes that you're going to get so many varieties of it, from what type of noodle they use to the consistency of and how creamy it is to the flavor.
Let me call Michelle quickly here and see 9:15. She might pick up because she's getting ready to walk. Getting ready to do a walk, so she might not pick up right now. But man, we've been at some decent restaurants where they have Cacio e Pepe on the menu. Yeah, let me call her cell phone, and it's just been horrific. It's been like just god awful. It's like, are you kidding me? And I've perfected the Cacio e Pepe.
Well, do you subscribe to the same idea that they talked about on CBS this morning or Sunday morning?
Yes.
Okay.
So they visited a chef in Rome, in Italy.
Rascioli.
And he was showing his method.
Oh.
He was using an immersion blender to mix up a paste. You can use immersion blender, or I've been using the I actually have both. I've got a Vitamixer, and I also have the what's the other one? What's the other fancy blender? Jeez, why am I drawing a blank? I actually use that more than
it's
the
one you make shakes with, right?
Yeah.
What's the? We use it too.
What the hell? What's the brand? They're not cheap.
No.
Oh man. Well, it's anyway. So, yes. So what is it? No, it's not KitchenAid. Jeez, what's the? No, Blendtec.
Okay.
Blendtec.
That wasn't what I was thinking.
No, it's Blendtec. So the other high end like blender and smoothie, you had Vitamixer, and then you have the Vitamix, and then you've got a Blendtec. So yeah, I've been kind of perfecting my Cacio for about 5 years now, maybe a little over 5 years, and I make the paste, but it's amazing. Let me see if I can get Michelle on.
There's one specific thing that this chef says, how you screw it up.
Well, what does he say? Did you watch the video, or you're reading a transcript?
I'm reading a transcript.
All right.
So he says that the day I'm gonna add the heavy cream.
Yeah. Oh, you don't use heavy cream.
Yeah, he says the day I'm gonna add the heavy cream, I'm gonna look for another job.
Yeah. So the video's like 3.5 minutes long. It's it's the package. I guess she's not going to answer. But man, we've had some Cacio e Pepe, and it's just embarrassing.
Mm-hmm.
We were at this is out of state. This is out of state in a place that has a high density of good restaurants.
Yeah.
And it's an Italian restaurant, and they had just added Cacio e Pepe to their menu. I'm like, all right, let's give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
Let's give it a chance. And they brought this thing out, and it was like, are you kidding me? This is flavorless turd noodle.
Yeah, sometimes it has I'm not even tasting anything.
It's ridiculous. So if you want to see this video, just do a quick little search. And if you want to see this little piece on making Cacio e Pepe, and it is so simple. It is 4 ingredients. That's it. You don't use butter. You don't use oil. You don't use cream to cheat and get a creamy sauce. No. It is 4 ingredients. It is the pasta. Use a bucatini or use a spaghetti. And you got to use bronze die cut. Don't mess around with crap. You got to use Italian imported bronze die cut bucatini or spaghetti. We tend to go spaghetti. Michelle likes the spaghetti versus a little bit of a thicker bucatini. All right. So it's the pasta. It is the cheese, and you got to use the finest cheese grater setting. And you want it to be like snow. So it's the pasta, the cheese, the peppercorns, which you toast on the stove, then you put them in a mortar and pestle, and you smash them up, and then it's the pasta water, which is liquid gold. And I make my spaghetti in as little water as possible to maximize and concentrate the starch. And then you ladle in the pasta water. So you take the pasta out, and I put it on the side so it doesn't overcook. You want to be al dente or just before, because then you're going to actually toss it in the pan, so it's going to cook even more in the pan. So you take the pasta out of the water because you don't want it to sit in the water to get overdone, and then use a ladle, and then I start adding the pasta water inside my BlendTech blender, and then also I put some pepper in there as well, and then you start blending it up to get a nice, it can't be too thick, but you want a nice gravy-like consistency, and then you put the pasta back in the pan, a little bit of pasta water, and then you start pouring the cheese blended mix in, and you fold it in to get the perfect coating, and then you also take more handfuls or fingerfuls of the smashed up black pepper, and then you mix it in to the consistency that you want, and then add a little, if it's a little too thick, add a little more pasta water in there to get the creamy consistency. And I'm telling you, I can make this dish that is as good as any cacio e pepe at the best places in Italy.
Right.
That's how I've perfected this dish. But you go to some even Italian restaurants, and it's like, oh my God, how hard did you work to F this up? And the deal is, with cacio e pepe, it's very easy to screw up. It's the simplest dish with the most simple ingredients, and so many just screw it up royally.
Have you ever gotten it, and it's just, you almost think to yourself, it's just like mac and cheese with pepper on it?
Listen, I had multiple variations, and a lot of them are just god awful. I mean, just horrific. Like in Roca locally
Roca's great.
Roca does a nice cacio e pepe. I don't know if they adhere to the 4 ingredients, though. I think they might have maybe some added, but Roca's is very tasty. In New York City, E. Sodi is famous for the cacio e pepe. And then, of course, if you want to stop by my house, mine is as good as it gets. But if you want to see the video on this, folks, just do a YouTube search, and it's from CBS Sunday Morning Yesterday with Jane Pauley, and it's on YouTube. Search for An Italian Masterpiece, Cacio, Cacio, E, and then Pepe, Pepe. So check it out. And do I sound slightly passionate about this?
It sounds like a Cacio e Pepe podcast.
I do. All right, when we get back, I've got the winner of the garage door opener. The Banco LiftMaster Garage Door Contest. I've got the winner and a whole lot more next here on the MJ Morning Show on Q105. Hey, It is 9:30 at the MJ Morning Show, and yes, I have the winning entry. Oh, man, it was so tough. Oh, my God, it was so tough. So many good stories. You know, it always concerns me. You know, you get people that entered and they wrote really good entries for the Banco garage door opener contest to win the top of the line, the 87504-267, which is the cat's meow of garage door openers. Top of the line that LiftMaster makes. It's got the 3D, the 360 light ring. It lights up the whole. It's amazing. It's like you think the overheads are on, and it lights up your whole garage. It's, the days of the little dim bulb, like a refrigerator bulb. Those are, really.
Those days behind us.
Illuminates the garage. You got the camera that takes video of who's coming and going, connects to the app on your phone so you can open and close your garage door. You go on vacation, you're like, honey, did you close the garage door? No, I thought you closed the garage. You just go to your app and see if it's open. If it's open, you just hit the button on your app and closes your garage door. It really is an amazing garage door opener, and we're giving this away courtesy of Banco and LiftMaster and the MJ Morning Show. And this is close to $1,000 value. But what I was saying was, I'm always concerned because, so many people spend time. I had a couple of 2-sentence entries, or just
They just said, okay, well, I see. Maybe mine will get chosen.
Whatever. But then I had some people that wrote some very creative stories, and some were very sympathetic. Some were, clearly real stories, and that was the criteria.
You did make a point at one time that they didn't have to be true.
It could be real or fake. I just get my attention. Right, the best story wins the garage door opener. And let me tell you right now, it really came down to where there were 25 or 30 really good ones that this could be the winner. And what concerns me though is I don't want people to be pissed off oh man, the story that he chose, wasn't as good as mine. I'm never listening to the MJ Morning Show again. Hopefully, don't be a sore loser, please. And I want you to know that so many of you had great entries for this contest. But there can only be one winner. And the winner is, well, let me share some of the story. MJ, October 20th, 2024 will forever be the day that changed my garage door life. A seemingly normal Sunday morning around 5 a.m. quickly turned into a nightmare. I placed the leash on my Great Pyrenees Max and opened the door leading to the garage. Suddenly, I realized the garage door hadn't closed completely from the night before. About a foot gap left open. That was just the beginning. My 2024 RAV4 Prime was noticeably scratched on the hood. I looked on the roof and a large raccoon was peering down, looking rather sickly. Holy crap, he writes. If you're not familiar with the Great Pyrenees mountain dogs, I am. They are gentle giants except in the face of danger. They sense it and battle it head on. The raccoon lunged at us in attack mode.
It could have been a rabid raccoon.
It was game on. Well, that's what I think the insinuation here is.
Yeah.
It was game on and happened so fast that I was unable to engage my Byrna non-lethal defense pistol. Max and the raccoon were in full fight mode. At first, he was able to overpower the wild animal, but it alarmingly turned advantage raccoon, blood everywhere, screaming, screeching, growling. A quick thought came to mind. What would Brian Stern of Gray Bull Rescue do?
This guy's good.
Good story. I pulled the raccoon off Max, but he thrust himself on my foot, clamping down on my right big toe. Closest object I could find was a ready-to-recycle Amazon Prime box with address labels removed. I batted the raccoon on the head numerous times, and he released my shredded toe. The pain was excruciating. He finally exited the garage, but not before breaking the PVC to the main water pipe. Water pressure somehow flooded the undercarriage of the RAV4 Prime and would not stop. Since that daunting day, much has transpired. Max succumbed to his injuries. Trauma was too much. He died a hero. I don't think this is real.
I don't think any of it is real.
My right big toe had to be amputated via emergency surgery.
We should take calls for that.
The infection was spreading rapidly. I have a nub and noticeable limp. A lot of big tough toe stuff going on.
Yeah.
Perhaps I can get a prosthetic. The HR department at the hospital I work at continues to question my work restrictions. They simply don't believe the story. I'm ordered not to discuss this publicly, except I'm trying to win a radio contest, of course. The water main took days to fix. Joe the plumber did great work, but in the meantime, I had to resort to showering and using the bathroom at work, including number 2. Apps. See, he listens to the show.
Yeah,
and
he listens to all these details.
He's incorporating so much into this story. Yeah. Absolutely nothing right about that. Feeling the need to get away, I booked a weekend trip up north to visit some high school buddies, a reunion of sorts. He's talking about my reunion now. But at the last minute, Breeze changed my flight. This is my story.
Yeah.
Breeze changed my flight departure from Saturday to Monday, so it didn't work for me. In addition, my car insurance company rendered my RAV4 Prime totaled. Fortunately, I was able to take advantage of the A-Plan employee pricing at Veterans Ford, the MJ deal. The new Raptor is fantastic. All this because of a 22-year-old archaic garage door opener that is loud, obnoxious, and sometimes does not close. The LiftMaster 87504-267 by Banco is the only solution that will ensure this will never happen again.
My guess is that when you read this, MJ, you're like, I have my winner. Like you could have stopped right there.
Oh my God. This is fantastic.
I want to start a GoFundMe for this poor guy's toe.
All right. It concludes. If I win, I will donate 25% of the value of the installed opener to Gray Bull Rescue. Quite possibly the baddest asses I've ever heard of. Thanks for the consideration, Rich in Land O'Lakes. Oh, Rich is called in. Andrew, Rich called in?
I'm sure he's
Rich,
hoping.
Welcome to the MJ Morning Show. Rich.
Yes. Unbelievable.
Dude, you won. Great story.
Thanks, man. That's
Do you listen
awesome.
sometime to the show? It seems like you listen here and there. You catch little bits and pieces of it.
Bits and pieces, pretty much start to finish. I don't work till second shift, so I'm, in the morning I'm generally doing things around the house.
That's what I want to hear, man. Hey,
including my dog. By the way, my dog is fine. My toe is fine. The RAV4 is fine. So just awesome, and I can't wait. Thanks to you, Roxanne, Fester. Thanks to Andrew and Banco and LiftMaster. Can't wait to get that thing hooked up.
It's an acceptance speech.
Yeah, it is. I love it. You're so sweet.
I'm gonna have to play the get off
Play
the
some
stage.
music.
I'm gonna have to play the get off the stage music, and the microphone the microphone retracts into the stage. Yeah.
Thanks, man. That's just fantastic. Awesome. I've been listening to you guys since like '97 or something.
Oh, that's fantastic. What do you do for a living, Rich?
I work over at St. Joe's. I'm a technician in the anesthesia department.
Oh, that's fantastic. Hey, so your story was great, and man, you had some serious competition. I had so many we had hundreds and hundreds of entries, and there were like 25 or 30 that were like just really good. It could have gone either, but just all your little nuances, drew me to your story. And, Michelle helped as well. And she looked over all, and we went over the pile. And Rich, you're the winner. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. It's awesome.
All right. Do me a favor. I'm going to put you on hold. Andrew, do me a favor. Get Rich's number. I have your email, obviously, your email account. But let me get your number as well, and then I'll forward that on to Banco, and they will schedule your installation of what model is it?
The 267 model.
It's the 87504-267.
Yeah.
All right, so we will get this arranged, and congratulations. You've got the top of the line, state-of-the-art garage door opener from Banco Overhead Doors, the MJ Morning Show, and LiftMaster, of course. All right, Rich, hang on. We're going to get your phone number off the air.
Thanks, MJ.
You bet. Look at that.
Awesome.
Another
What a good
satisfied
winner.
customer. A great one. Listen, great story. Just all a little new. And then the fact that he's going to give 25% of the value of the garage door opener to Great Bull Rescue. And, listen, they do rescues all around the world. They did high water rescues here in the Tampa Bay area during the hurricanes. They rescue Americans from Lebanon that were trapped. They rescued people up in North Carolina with the mudslides. The destruction up there. In my neighborhood, we have the mansion that was burned to the ground by the Tesla in South Tampa and Beach Park. And they rescued the family that fled the Tesla fire and destroyed the whole house. House is like just, completely destroyed. And they rescued that family that had to flee the fire in the middle of the storm surge for Helene at 3 o'clock in the morning. And then also had to rescue the neighbors right next door. And they got them out on rafts as they were wading through, waist-deep water.
Crazy. Heroes.
Yeah. So he's going to donate. Listen, the value of the garage door opener is about $1,000. So sounds like Rich is going to donate about $250 to Great Bull
That's
Rescue.
so nice.
Which is a very, very nice gesture. All right, the final moments of anything, Andrew, anything in particular do you think I missed today, or Roxanne, anything you think that we've missed today?
I just pulled up a story I just happened to catch. Maybe we'll talk about it tomorrow. That looks like it just broke on WFLA. Baker Mayfield suing his father.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on a second. No, well, let's mention this right now. Hold on. Baker Mayfield, Bucs quarterback, seeks $12 million in lawsuit against his father's company.
So I'm trying to read through it right now. It looks like he loaned them some money or,
hang on a minute. An ongoing dispute between Tampa Bay Buccaneers quarterback Baker Mayfield and his family in Austin, Texas, has boiled over into a lawsuit. Attorneys for Baker Mayfield filed the suit in U.S. District Court November 22nd. That was last Friday.
Yeah.
The lawsuit alleges that the Camwood Capital Management Group, is that Camwood or Carnwood? Camwood Capital Management Group and its subsidiaries failed to fulfill their end of a settlement agreement which outlined a repayment plan for more than $12 million to Mayfield. His father, James W. Mayfield, owns Camwood, and his brother Matt has a stake in the company. Oh, he's suing his father and
And
brother.
his brother. Yeah. So it looks like he loaned them some money. He was not that, money he put in. It was not an investment.
Hey,
he does not own stock. Yeah.
I've got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Are they all hanging out for Thanksgiving this year?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Probably not.
My guess is he's not going to Texas. And
My
they're not
God,
coming
is his dad flying in for Bucs games?
Maybe he has more family tickets available for other people.
Baker
White side family.
Mayfield, wife Emily, and the couple's company Team BRM LLC are also listed as plaintiffs in the lawsuit. Wow, this is a crazy story. What else?
That's what happens when you have, he signed 2024, he signed a $100 million deal, $50 million guaranteed. So then you have family members, friends. Hey, Baker, can you get me out of a jam? Can you lend me this money? Well, if it's a loan, he wants it paid back.
From the story, WFLA's sister station, KXAN, so clearly it's a Nexstar station. They own a lot of TV stations around the country. Contacted Camwood's attorney via email for a statement. In August 2023, Baker Mayfield's attorneys filed a petition asking for Camwood's financial records from 2018 to 2023, plus oral depositions from witnesses to help reconcile where the money went. The lawsuit said a confidential settlement and release agreement was formed in January 2024 with 3 prongs to fulfill. The first was repayment of roughly $11.7 million plus interest beginning September 2024. The second was to refinance an existing loan to aid in the repayment. And the third was to give Baker Mayfield access to the company's books and records. None of those conditions were met, according to the lawsuit. To date, Camwood Capital has not repaid even $1 under the settlement. Baker Mayfield is suing his father and brother and their company.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that can't make for a happy Thanksgiving.
No.
Oh, my. But listen.
There's certain topics we'll have to steer clear of
if
they are getting together.
You don't get into business with family and friends, man.
No. Can go awry.
That's what you don't do. What time is it? 9:45? Let me see if Michelle's on her walk. Yeah, she's headed to the gym, and I'll meet her at the gym. She has her session first, then my sesh is after. So while she's on the way to the gym, let's talk about pasta. Come on, Michelle, pick up the phone.
Hello.
Yo, hey, what are you doing?
Brushing my teeth.
Oh, it doesn't sound like you're walking. You're not going to make it on time.
I'm not walking today.
Why not?
Oh my God! I'm taking a pass on the walking this morning. Okay, I was up until 3:30 with you.
Oh yeah, I didn't get to bed till 3:30 last night.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
And I didn't take a nap like you. So.
But I did. I got a long nap in, so that kind of helped a lot.
Yeah,
all right. So so hey, I tried to call you. Did you hear the Cacio e Pepe item?
Yes.
I tried to call you, and how many times have we had Cacio e Pepe at a restaurant, an Italian restaurant, and it blew monkey chunks?
Plenty.
And how is my Cacio e Pepe among the best you can get in Italy?
Absolutely.
I mean, I've nailed it. It's like, I ought to open up like the United States Cacio e Pepe Institute on how to make it.
No. You don't need another job.
No, because this one could fall apart at any minute. I mean, radio's not very stable these days.
You know what? You've got too many things going on.
All right.
Goodbye.
All right. See you in a bit.
Bye.
Oh, by the way, people love your picture from Saturday night.
So pretty.
I haven't seen it. Thank you, Roxanne.
Yeah,
I don't know.
People love it.
When you go out with that crowd, you only remember half of what happened. So
yeah, well, the caption says Michelle feeling no pain at Donatello Tampa on a Saturday night.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
All right. I'll see you. See ya. We got to work off that alcohol. See you at the gym.
Bye.
All right. Bye. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna open up. You know what? MJ's, because MJ sounds so Italian.
MJ.
Yeah. And Schnitt, that sounds really Italian. Yeah, of course, that's German. So MJ's Cacio e Pepe Institute of America.
There you go.
And I'll teach even Italian chefs in the U.S. how to make Cacio e Pepe right.
Mm-hmm.
For crying out loud. By the way, last batch I made, I used Fiore Sardo DOP, Sardinian Pecorino.
Oh, Sardo. Sardo. Speaking of Sardo.
And it was fantastic. It's fantastic. And also, you know who else gets me great cheese is Luigi. Luigi from Trattoria Pasquale. He gets like a whole wheel. He gets a Tuscan Pecorino that really is also fantastic. But the last batch I made, when we were up in Philadelphia, we were in the Italian section in Philly, South Philly, and we went into an Italian market, and I got a nice wedge of this Sardo Fiore, which was fantastic. Couple of things before we get out of here. The Bitcoin story. I remembered the Bitcoin story that I asked you guys to remind me of. And, man, this is nuts. I think the guy is in the UK. And I've been following this story for maybe 10 years. There's a guy, and this is insane. There's a guy that had a whole bunch of Bitcoin and all of the Bitcoin numbers, the string of all the characters, your Bitcoin key. He had them on a hard drive, and he accidentally threw the hard drive away. And it ended up in a landfill. This is over in England or UK somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, the value of the Bitcoin that he threw away now is over $800 million.
No way.
Yeah, it's insane. And he threw it away. And for years, he's been battling the city where he lives to dig through the landfill. And, he's kind of figured out, he has a grid, and you know how landfills work.
Yeah.
Is they know on what day and where they're dumping the stuff in a landfill because they keep track of that.
Yeah.
So they know so this guy has narrowed down where he thinks that his hard drive is buried because of the date of the trash pickup and where they were dumping it. So he's been trying to get this municipality to let him dig, and he won't. He's even offered them like a major chunk of the money for the town if they let him dig. And they're like, no, you're going to cause a disturbance. It's an environmental hazard. It's this, it's that. And can you imagine that? You bury a hard drive with Bitcoin keys to the tune of $800 million these days?
You're sick over that.
My God. At that point, just throw yourself off a bridge.
Yeah.
At that point. Anyway, that's a crazy freaking story. Sardo.
Yeah, you got a text from him.
Yeah. I got to do this quickly here. Yeah, Sardo hurt himself. Sardo. Hey, good morning. Remember we had Sardo in with Brutus Beefcake, the barber. We had him in on Thursday, and they were promoting the Saturday dunk tank to raise money. And Sardo says, thank your beautiful audience. We raised over $7,000 Saturday, so thank you very much. I had my hand on the bar when somebody hit the lever when I wasn't ready and dislocated my shoulder. Oh, my God. Had to be taken to the hospital, so yes, charity does hurt. Oh, Sardo, dude, I hope you get better. A dislocated shoulder. The things this guy will do for charity. Holy jamoli. And with that, we will say the Monday show is done. Anything else before we get out of here, guys?
No, we're good.
We'll call it a day. Yep. Tuesday, we're live again tomorrow for the Tuesday edition of the MJ Morning Show on Q105. It's 104.7 FM. We'll see you back here mañana, and do me a favor. Very simple request, my friends. Let's be careful out there.
Hear the latest MJ Morning Show podcast on the Q105 app, powered by Anna Jar and Levine Accident.